Welcome to the Overruled Podcast March Madness Special. My name is your host, Trevor Blatnick. Coming to you live from Highlands Ranch, Colorado, with Fenn Vogel, Jaden Rioch, Kyle Barton, Blake Fry, and Kaelyb Grover. I believe this is Caleb's first time on the podcast, so a big shout out to him.
Boo!
So,
sorry,
we're very accommodating here. So before we go into this March Madness breakdown, we're gonna go around, say where we are right now, because we're all in different places, who we're cheering for in the tournament, and I believe Caleb's going to share his screen. We're gonna go region by region, talk about the matchups, who we think we like in those regions. Sounds good?
No.
Let's do it.
All right, Jaden, do you want to kick us off?
Hi, I'm Jaden. I'm currently in bed in Castle Rock, Colorado.
Who are you cheering for this tournament?
Of course, the greatest team of all time, Creighton, but, I'm also cheering for toothpaste at Colgate.
All right,
fan
Kyle.
of toothpaste.
All right, my name's Kyle Barton. I go to
Kyle.
Colorado State University in Fort Collins. And I don't know. I don't really have a specific team I'm rooting for, but I have like a group of teams I'm rooting for. Like
Colgate.
I'd love to see Ohio State do well. I would love to see CU do well. Even though I go to CSU, I'm still rooting for Colorado, and I'll more on that later. And my sleeper for the whole tournament is 12 seed University of California, Santa Barbara. I think they're going to do very well, and I'm rooting hard
Gauchos.
for them. Go Gauchos.
They're a real blue-collar team without actually having a blue collar.
Exactly.
I mean, you can't root for your own school, so.
Yeah, I know. But, hey, Colorado State University, they're taking the NIT.
All right, Kaelyb, you want to go?
Yeah, obviously, his name's Kaelyb Grover. I'm in Omaha, Nebraska.
Hi, Kaelyb.
And I'm going for two teams, University of Oregon, Kansas, but with proper conditions, it looks like the two are going to have to end up playing each other at some point. So I'm going to have to go with Rock Chalk all the way. It's just kind of my mindset. We're shooting for another national championship, so couldn't be happier.
I forgot to mention Drake.
He's great. He's a great rapper.
Dream Team bowling shirt over a Nike Pro Combat.
Well, of course, I got to support the Dream Team. There's legends of March Madness like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan. Come on, the guys who built March Madness.
Patrick Ewing University is actually playing Trevor's school.
Patrick Ewing, I totally forgot about him.
I suppose that segues into me, Trevor Blatnick, Highlands Ranch, Colorado. I'm going for the University of Colorado. No, do not go Georgetown. We don't like Georgetown. All right. Ben, you want to go?
Oh, okay. My name is Ben.
Hi, Ben.
Hi, Ben.
See, I'm sitting in my Big Joe beanbag chair currently.
Ooh, Walmart brand.
Grand Canyon University in Phoenix, Arizona.
First appearance, huh?
We're making our first appearance in tournament history. 15 seed. Lopes up, baby.
Go Lopes.
We're not winning shit.
They're beating Iowa.
Luka Garza is going to hang 30.
Luka Garza is absolutely the most overrated player in college right now. So
we're being real.
He's too white for me.
Thank you, Kyle.
If we're being real, GCU's, I'll root for them, but we'll be done early. So I'll root for my other school that I've always rooted for, which is North Carolina. Unfortunately, they're an 8 seed, so they are also going to suck and not go anywhere.
So you're going to go for 3 seed Texas.
No, Arkansas.
Yeah, Texas would be my college football team. I'm not really rooting for them now because they're my football team, not my basketball team. There's a difference.
Thank
you.
There's a difference.
I'm rooting for a good tournament and for everyone to just have fun and stay safe.
The real champion is the friends we make along the way.
Oh,
exactly. Thank you, Trevor.
All right,
I'm also
Blake,
hoping to win $50 or $60 from all you idiots.
You were about to say the Myers-Leonard word, weren't you?
Not to say the F word, but I figured that was not podcast appropriate.
No.
Hey, we need to be professional, man.
Oh, by the
Okay,
way, we need
fuck.
context for Blake when he comes up. He was 15 minutes late. Boo.
I know.
Actually, more like 25.
Blamed it on
It was-
FedEx, by the way. Blamed it on
was.
FedEx.
FedEx
does suck. FedEx
FedEx
is terrible.
took
I'm
so
with him
long,
on this.
UPS better.
Boo Denny Hamlin. Boo FedEx.
Anyways,
I'll take a screenshot.
my name is Blake.
Hi, Blake.
I am
Hi,
currently
Blake.
in Spokane, where I go
Where's
to school at
that? Where's
Gonzaga
that?
University.
Oh,
What
thank you.
state? What state is Spokane in?
Yeah,
It's in
thank you.
Washington. It's in Washington.
Thanks.
Washington
Oh.
State or Washington, D.C.?
State.
Okay,
No,
thank
we
you.
don't like Washington, D.C. either.
And
That's the
obviously, I'm
District
rooting
of
for my
Columbia.
school,
Calm down.
the Gonzaga Bulldogs. And
Woo!
we'll see what happens. Other than that, I'm rooting for CU and Virginia Tech and Grand Canyon, of course.
What about the
And West
Jayhawks,
Virginia.
huh? What about the Jayhawks?
Nah, no
Kansas?
chance.
What about
Hey, you're in the same
Creighton?
region as
Jayhawks.
them. You can't
Yeah, I
cheer
can't.
for
I don't know if I should root for Kansas, but
What about
Anyways, yeah.
Creighton?
Great. Alrighty, Kaelyb, you want to share that screen and get us underway here?
Yeah, I can. Here we go.
My Bitcoin order has been approved and executed.
Hey.
Hey, we got
All
a
right.
bracket thingy. Let's go.
So let's start in the
Ooh,
top
zooms.
left region, the West region, which definitely has significant importance because it's taking place in the western portion of Indianapolis. I love that they still call it the West, East, Midwest, and South. I saw someone asking why do they name it this, because it has absolutely no geographical connotations to where the universities actually are. It's where the regionals are. If you're in the West, you typically have the championship games. I think the West was going to be in Denver this year. It's typically in Anaheim or something like that. But it's just where the regionals and the first and second round are played. It's not where the teams actually are. So okay.
Who asked?
Ooh, good question. Good question.
So the first matchup, Gonzaga versus the winner of Norfolk State and Appalachian State. Norfolk State beat Missouri a few years ago as a 15 seed.
Ooh, Mizzou. Michael Porter University.
I'll pick Norfolk State to win that playing game.
You had me for a second.
Appalachian State all the way.
Mountaineers making their first tournament appearance in 21 years.
The Fun Belt.
Hey, proud of them, but I think this is an easy ride-in.
Yeah, I'm taking Gonzaga to make it to the second round on Jaden's birthday.
Oh my!
Oh,
happy
happy birthday!
No, my birthday's on the 22nd. Stupids.
No, I know.
Dumbass, that's when the
That's an
second round
early
is.
birthday present.
Well, I
That's an
can't
early
fucking
birthday.
read it. Caleb didn't zoom in close enough. How am I
Here,
How
supposed
did
you
you not
know
zoom
what?
in closer?
to? Can I see the
There.
second round date? No. Zoom in a
Right
little bit
there.
closer.
Blind? You
A little
can't
bit
see
closer to
that?
the second.
You
No, I'm
can't
kidding.
see that?
What the heck?
I haven't pulled up on
Too
my
bad we couldn't have
computer.
gotten
It's okay.
Creighton versus Gonzaga on his birthday.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that
Oh,
would've been
that
legendary.
sucks. That would have been so
That'd have
amazing.
been pretty dope.
Yeah, I think the 16 seed will give Gonzaga a good, fight because they're not in Washington. They're not, they're in Indiana now, and home court doesn't matter. So I predict a close game. Gonzaga's going to win by 3.
What's the score though on that?
69-66. Nice.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
nice.
nice.
All right.
So, we all taking Gonzaga in this one, Kyle?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right. This was where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
Michael Porter University versus Blake Griffin University. Okay, Boomer Sooner versus
Whoa,
Missouri.
you're just missing Kyler Murray there. That's disrespectful.
Jalen
Blake
Hurts,
Griffin-
actually.
Kyler Murray's
Blake
overrated.
Griffin played basketball there.
Adrian
so
Peterson.
He played baseball there. I mean, why didn't he play basketball? He just run out of time?
I said basketball.
Oh, no. Kyler Murray probably did at some point.
I'm personally
Oh.
taking Oklahoma in this one.
Boo.
I don't think
agree.
Missouri is very
I think
good.
the Big 12 is a far superior conference to the SEC this year. And I think Oklahoma should have been higher than an 8 seed. I saw them as being like a 6 or 7 seed. So I think Oklahoma all the way over Missouri.
The issue with Oklahoma's seeding was the rocky starts they had at the end of the year, though. So
Yeah.
that definitely
Start at the
affected
end.
their seeding. Yeah.
I think the Big 12 in general is just underseeded. We saw it on the other side of the bracket, Oklahoma State. I think there's not a lot of respect because they kind of ate themselves a little bit. They have the best teams in all of college basketball. And I think Oklahoma beats Missouri in the first round for sure.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I think so too.
Missouri's winning. Get wrecked. No
I
explanation.
gotta-
I just like Michael Porter Jr., so Missouri's got to win, of course.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oklahoma's
100%.
lost 4 straight, but I'll still go with them because Missouri's not good at any sport. They're the worst.
Hey, don't be
SEC
Yeah,
hating on
they're-
the blue
They are
Lob,
the
bro.
worst. They are the worst school in the SEC. I think we can all say that.
They're not a real SEC.
Yeah, they're as bad
What
as
about
it gets.
Vanderbilt? They only
Yeah,
have
Vanderbilt.
baseball.
Baseball.
Whoa, no
Vanderbilt's got
Vanderbilt
baseball.
slander. They have a woman kicker, bro. Come on now. No
Yeah,
Vanderbilt
won the Heisman.
slander.
They
Just
can't
on the
use her
podcast,
when they're
Trevor.
losing 41-0 to Missouri.
You shouldn't use a woman at all, Trevor.
Okay. Actually, I agree with that. Okay, so this next one is going to be a fight between Kyle and Jaden.
Creighton.
Number 12, Creighton, out of the Big East. They choked in the Big East title game.
They
They
need
basically
to-
kept-
They needed to
Choked.
reset.
They got
goddamn it.
destroyed.
They
They got
needed to
destroyed.
reset.
And then the champions of the Big West, the University of California, Santa Barbara Gauchos, Ryan Stolborn's
Ooh.
University. The
The only thing
Gauchos.
I know is UC, and that's University of California. The rest is shit booty, so Creighton's winning.
This is the University of California. It's just the Santa Barbara branch.
No, I said
This-
shit booty. That means Creighton winning. Boom. That's
I
my
see
logic.
this being one of like the primary upsets that are chosen throughout the tournament. But in order for them to do it, I think they have to make it a game of transition, like scoring on transition and making it more of a pace kind of game instead of slowing it down and letting Creighton run their offense. But I think Creighton's the better team, but I think UCSB is definitely going to give them a run for their money. I'm still writing in Creighton because I don't know.
Yeah.
They're pretty nails, but that choke in the
another
championship was
Dude, according to sources, their coach is amazing. So, like, I trust them in the edge of the game.
Racist man. McDermott.
What sources did you get that from? I'm just curious.
Yeah. Well, we need to fact check that one, Jaden.
Hey, go to fact check then.
But yeah, I think it'll be a very good game. I see this being one of the best games of the first round. But I think Santa Barbara is. I'm picking Santa Barbara to win. I'm a little biased because that used to be my dream school. So I like UCSB a lot, and I watched a lot of Big West basketball this year, and I think they're a pretty good team. Creighton's the better team, but I see an upset happening here. But at the same time, I think it'll be probably one of the top 3 or 4 games of the first round. Like, I'm really excited for this game.
This is my matchup right here. I think the 2 CUs in this tournament, I guess Clemson's in there too, but Creighton and Colorado, 2 5 seeds, they either lose the first round or make a deep run. And
I agree.
if the Blue Jays can get past UCSB, I think Creighton's got a really good chance. They're a very good team. Tough Big East. They were arguably the best team in the Big East. I am not sold on Villanova whatsoever. They had a really bad championship game against Georgetown. And I think if Creighton can, like what Kaelyb said, slow it down, run their offense, and limit the transition and the 3-point shooting of UCSB, that's where they got into trouble against Georgetown. They kept allowing Georgetown to take over on the offensive end. They got their boards. They were able to kick out. They were able to hit their threes. If Creighton can limit that, they're the better team, and I like them to win this game. But I agree with Kyle. This is going to be one of the better games of this first round.
I mean,
I'm picking
one
Creighton.
point-
I don't think it's going to be as close as you guys think it is. There's usually about 2 or so 12-5 upsets each year. And I think that UCSB is the worst 12 seed, at least right now.
Okay.
So I'm picking, that was a fluky championship game performance by Creighton. They're going to come out on all cylinders here. I'm picking them by double digits.
Let's
I will agree.
Double digits.
All right.
The loss does allow them to reset, like we have been talking about a lot. So
Yeah. They just need to reset before the tournament. Come on, you wouldn't want to reset in the tournament like Gonzaga does yearly. Okay, you got to reset.
it's very true. I've never been to a Final Four.
Dude,
Y'all
people
realize
forget
this is a meme that started before I was even on TV for the first time, right? I think this was a
You've been
week
on
before
TV?
I made my Met TV debut.
that. Trevor,
So
I've
this
never
has been
seen
going
you
on
my
for
TV.
over 2 years.
Trevor, were you on my TV?
I don't know. Did you watch the Met Report on TV?
Wait, is it on TV?
I don't
It's
get
on-
it with DirecTV.
It's
yeah,
actually
right.
it's on Comcast channel
That's a shame.
68, I think. And that's
Yeah, I
not a
don't-
joke.
I don't get it with Xfinity.
Oh, actually, I think I've seen that before. Not with you, but I've seen that channel before.
All right. So 4 versus 13. Virginia.
Ohio, Ohio. That's who we're
And
going
then
with.
the
here,
MAC
boys.
champion Ohio Bobcats. 13-4 for me. I'm taking the Bobcats.
I'm
Really?
taking the Bobcats.
I'm taking the Bobcats as well.
Wow.
Bobcats.
I have Virginia.
I'm going
so-
Virginia.
Look,
I think Virginia is the worst 4 seed, but I still like them over Ohio. In this
Yeah.
game.
I agree
Here's
with that, Kyle.
Jason Preston is a stud, and he's going to beat Virginia basically by himself. Ohio is hot right now. Virginia's had basically a week and a half off because of the COVID. This is Ohio's chance to really make a big impact as a 13 seed. Jason Preston, watch him. Remember that name. He's going to be huge.
What's his name?
Jason Preston.
Remember
I
that.
got you. Remember his name?
Yes, remember it.
I
Okay.
got you.
I'll write 'em.
Virginia has been off for COVID. They're literally not able to practice for like a week and a half. This is a really trendy upset pick right now. There's been a 13 seed has beat a 4 seed 25 of the last 35 years. So there's probably going to be a 13-4 upset. I'm not convinced it's going to be this game because the ACC generally does pretty good in the first couple of rounds. So I'm going to stick with Virginia, but I do think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, it'll be a really good game.
my thing
Virginia has a
is
tendency of losing round 1, by the way.
yeah. My thing is you're talking about an Ohio team that took arguably the toughest 1 seed in the tournament down to the wire at home. They went on the road. They put up a 1 possession game down to the
Against
wire
who?
the whole time against Illinois.
You think Illinois is the best 1 seed?
Absolutely. I think they're the strongest 1 seed. Yeah. I think they're the
I agree.
strongest.
I agree.
Yep.
They took the strongest 1 seed down to the wire at home. So
Boy.
I think
Who's
Are we
only
forgetting
1
how
seed
good
who's
Gonzaga
undefeated?
is?
Gonzaga. Gonzaga's the only undefeated 1 seed. Get the hell out
But
of here.
Gonzaga's never
Illinois
made the
is better.
Final Four, people.
Dude,
Gonzaga
they
is the
just
best
won
team in the
conference
all
tournament.
Gonzaga-
college basketball this year.
Gonzaga just I'm never sold on the Zags. I'm sorry, Blake. I'm just never sold on them.
It's
I'm
all
not
good,
saying they're
bro.
going to win it all because they won't. They'll find a way to choke, but they're the best team.
See, I actually have Ohio going to the Sweet 16. I have them upsetting Creighton as well.
Oh my
No,
god!
All right, we gotta move on.
Okay,
to
well
the
we'll get to
CSC
that.
one.
Okay.
We'll get to that one in a sec here. So we got 11 versus 6. I know Jaden, who's Wichita State playing?
Oh, Drake. Oh, I'm taking Drake against USC. Drake will win a game and then win against USC, and they're rolling, baby. 2 in a row. Oh, they'll be ready for the second round. Oh,
So,
can't
Hey,
wait.
Drake
Drake.
has the number 1 defense in all of college basketball statistically.
That's true.
Drake, I think whoever wins between Drake and Wichita State, I think that's going to be a good game. I think whoever wins that's beating USC. I think that's going to go round 32.
Evan Mobley's too good. I don't think he's going to let USC lose that first round. USC is a very good team, and I hate Evan Mobley, and I will talk about hating the Pac-12. I had a podcast with Blake last week where basically I spent the entire time hating on the Pac-12 outside of CU because I don't like any of the teams because they're rivals to CU.
What about
But
Oregon State?
USC is a really good team,
What
and
school are you a fan of again, Trevor?
we'll get there. USC is a really good team, and I think Evan Mobley is good enough. He's going to be one of the top 5 picks in the draft, and I think he has the chance to lead USC on a deep run in this tournament. I don't think neither Wichita State nor Drake is going to be good enough to beat USC and Evan Mobley.
No, Drake's winning easy.
I'm
pretty,
pretty about everything Trevor said. Like I'm sold on USC. I've got him at least Sweet 16. Teams that have a star are the teams that make deep runs, and USC has a star. So
If you're a solid team that has a star, that's
Then
when you
that's
win
correct.
championships as a lower seed.
Yes, that's
They
not true.
will-
Think of UConn. Kimball Walker's not a star. He's the 4th option on the Celtics at best.
he was the star.
Wow, where did that?
Oh, so he got drafted into the NBA. Oh, he's not a star though. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
So I see we're back on that Kemba Walker slander train.
Any shot I get, Kimball Walker, you're going under.
I respect that. That is commitment. You don't hear the conversations we have. Maybe once or twice a week, Jaden brings up stats to slander Kemba Walker.
It's not
It's the-
slander. It's true, people.
That's
Kemba
yeah.
Walker
I will
is
always.
Barbo.
So we know We haven't even got to UConn yet. He just
I'll literally take
us
Isaiah
Kemba Walker.
Thomas over Kimba Walker, people. Give me
He
like
was a
the
star in
30-year-old.
college too.
Yeah, he was, but he's also better than Kimba right now.
Going back
I'm just
to
gonna
it,
hop back on this train, and I'm just
I
gonna.
wasn't done talking yet.
Yeah, Van's go.
I got
Ben's-
Wichita over Drake in the play-in because Drake had their best player get hurt. They started the year like 15-0 or something. They haven't been the same team without him. So
Yeah.
I got Wichita State over Drake and then USC over Wichita State.
Dude, that's
Yeah,
right.
I'm with the
Drake tore his ACL.
That's where I'm at.
I'm on the shocker train as well for the first
I'm on the
4.
shocker train as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, Wichita State's pretty dope.
Oh yeah.
But USC to win the game.
Speaking of stars, remember that run they had with Fred VanVleet?
Oh heck yeah. Ron Baker.
Yeah.
All right, so the next matchup we've got the Eagles of Eastern Washington, the Big Sky champs, and Caleb's Kansas Jayhawks.
Let's go.
Rock chalk. We're obviously an easy ride-in for me. I'm sending Kansas to the next round. No explanation.
Hey,
necessary.
Eastern Washington has got a red football field, so they're definitely gonna win.
Oh,
I don't think Kansas is a good 3 seed. I think they're probably overseeded at the 3, but they're not losing to Eastern Washington.
Yeah,
That's an easy round of 32 matchup for round of 32 advancement for me.
Yep.
I actually think this game's going to be pretty close. Kansas in a similar situation as Virginia. They can't practice for like a week and a half. I think they'll come out, start a little bit slow.
Oh, yeah, never mind.
If Eastern Washington is shooting well, they will win this game, but it's going to be close. I'm going to go with Kansas, but that game's going to be a lot closer than people
Also,
expect.
do we know who's playing fully for Kansas yet because of the whole COVID thing?
We don't know
not
if
yet.
even
They haven't released anything yet, but
Okay.
they have until tomorrow for teams to withdraw from the tournament for COVID cases. And if 2 withdraw from the tournament, the first one will be replaced by Louisville. The second will be replaced by Colorado State. That's something to watch out for because depending what seed Creighton and Colorado are, we might get a Rocky Mountain showdown in the first round if Colorado State makes it in. I would not like that, but
CSU would win. You wouldn't
also-
like CSU's gonna win?
no, CSU is a really tough team. We saw that last year, and CSU was kind of on the edge. They had a really young team, not quite ready to take that next step. We all went to that game up in Fort Collins, and Colorado
the Patriots
played.
got a receiver.
Who'd they get?
Nelson Aguilar.
No one cares. Anyways, go
Nelson
on, Trevor.
Aguilar, the only man to be slandered after a house caught on fire. All right. So we got another Kaelyb matchup coming up next. We got the Virginia Commonwealth Rams, who made that run back in 2011 to the Final Four, and the Mighty Ducks of Oregon out of the Pac-12 led by Chris Duarte and
I'm
LJ
uneasy.
Figueroa.
I'm very uneasy about this matchup. I think that Oregon, they are a veteran squad. They can shoot the ball very well beyond the arc, but there's just something about VCU, man. they show up in the tournament every year.
One thing,
I respect our veterans. Oh, sorry.
VCU is ranked number 14th in defense.
Ooh, good point.
Could be an upset.
I like
I
VCU here.
I think Oregon should be higher than the 7th seed.
Yeah, they're underseeded.
Yeah, I think they should definitely be higher. I think Oregon, they may have lost Oregon State, but I still think they're a really good team. And VCU, second place in the A10, but I think I got Oregon all the way in this game. And VCU, it's going to be their first tournament game they've played like through this whole run where they've been really good. First tournament played without Shaka Smart as a coach. And when they all their March Madness runs, they had Shaka Smart. He's now at Texas, so I think Oregon's going to win. I think they could win pretty easily.
I think Oregon's another dark horse team. The Pac-12 is kind of weird this year where they don't have Arizona. So when you look at the conference, it's like, okay, so who's taking that next step up? Because Arizona is obviously always the top of the list for everybody. Oregon won the Pac-12 outright, and realistically, they probably would have if Arizona didn't self-impose a postseason ban. I really like the Ducks too. Chris Duarte is. I slandered him on the podcast last week, but he's a fantastic three-point shooter. Oregon is just such a solid team. They take care of the ball. They run such a fantastic offense, moving that ball around. and they can shoot from three. They can move it inside. They play good defense. They make you uncomfortable on offense. And that has all of the makings of a deep run. I don't know if Oregon's got a tough draw in the next round, but I think that the Ducks are equipped to make a run to the Sweet 16, maybe more.
You really think Oregon's not going to beat Grand Canyon?
I've got Oregon winning this game. I think they're at least the top 20 team in the country. They are underseeded. Outside of VCU's run a few years ago to the Final Four, the A-10 has been historically very bad. So I think this is an easy one, Oregon.
I'm gonna go Oregon
easy
as well.
one for me. I got VCU. I understand, according to Trevor, Oregon can play basketball, but I just don't trust the coastal teams in the Pac-12. They're just going to lose. Humidity's
Eugene's not on
in
the coast.
Indiana, so VCU's got the dub.
What?
Okay, I'm glad we're making our March Madness choices off who's on the coast and who's not.
Hey, Virginia borders the East Coast, so.
Dude, that
Ooh,
is
good
true,
point,
but I
Kyle.
think the East Coast a little bit more because of the Appalachians. So, you know, and plus
East
the
Coast and East Coast.
Rams. You know, I like Rams as well. So
Okay, let's move on.
on.
2-seed Iowa out of the Big Ten. 15-seed Grand Canyon making their first appearance in the tournament of the Western Athletic Conference.
What's up?
Grand Canyon had a very good year. They hung with Arizona State, although they ended up being terrible. Arizona State did. I said, fine, whatever. I'm sorry, Jaden. And they fought with Colorado. Granted, Colorado did not play very well in that game. So I think they might be able to hang with them. I'm sorry. They might be able to compete with them for 25, 30 minutes. But I think Luka Garza is just going to be the needle that tips the scale for Iowa. And the Hawkeyes will win it comfortably, but not in a blowout.
You see,
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Luka Garza is I think he's good, but it's not even going to be just all him. I think Iowa's just got a really solid team all around. I really like Iowa in this tournament, and I think they'll win this. I think GCU's could be the best 15 seed, but I think Iowa will win pretty handily.
Yeah. Iowa, Luka Garza, yeah, the same thing. But if you get him into foul trouble, then it's kind of dangerous for them. But I think they'll take care of Grand Canyon, even though I want Grand Canyon to win. I'm sorry, Ben.
You see, for my personal opinion, I was talking to Ben about this the other day. I think that you give them a chance. If you're on the court, you have a chance. You have to put Luka on his own island. You're going to have to limit damage. He's going to have to score low teens. The dude's a walking double-double. He's going to get the job done one way or another. But if you can limit his presence on the court and kind of focus on running your own offense and stop trying to focus on, I guess, neutralizing, I think you give yourself a chance. I think you have to make it a transition-based game. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a fight, but I think Grand Canyon can pull off the upset.
let's go.
Are you picking a low?
Dude, I hope so.
That'd be amazing.
So I go to GCU. We do have a 7-footer who's very good defensively.
He's really good.
And he could shut down Luka Garza. I'm not too concerned about that. We are, by the way, completely underseeded. There are multiple 14 seeds that we're better than. Probably could argue we could be a 13 seed.
No.
I think.
No.
What I
No.
New Mexico State,
17 and no.
Grand Canyon versus
Trevor,
Virginia?
GCU is one of the only teams in the country. We actually might be the only team in the country that is top 15 in offensive field goal percentage and defensive field goal percentage.
There you go.
Whoa.
Why are you shooting field goals on defense? That's a Bill Waltonism right there. I'm sorry.
We're also 7th in the country in offensive rebounds.
Ooh.
So we're going to keep Garza in check on the glass too. Like I said, I'm not too concerned about him. Our problem is that we have not been able to shoot all year. We're a terrible 3-point shooting team.
Yeah.
And that is the separator between Iowa and us, is they can shoot the 3 ball and we can't. If we can get hot, we shot pretty well in the first half of the WAC championship against New Mexico State. If we could shoot like that for a whole game, then we can beat Iowa. But the chances of that happening are so incredibly low that we're not going to beat them. I'm sorry.
No.
It's just a better team. I got us losing by about 8 or 9.
I disagree. I think Grand Canyon's riding high. This is a team of destiny. They are meant to pull this upset off. I got the Lopers going to the round of 32.
I'm praying you're right, Kaelyb.
Hey, they played
This
tough
is a team of
competition all
destiny.
year. Dixie State really prepared them for this game. Man.
Yeah.
This is a team of destiny. They're gonna get the job done.
One thing, Ben, I don't know if you know this. Your team ranks 16th in the nation for defense.
Yeah, I know. We've got a really good defensive team.
But yeah, I think your kryptonite is your 3-point shooting. So we'll see how it works.
Yeah, like I said, we can shut them down. It's just a matter of how well we can shoot. If we can find a way to stay competitive 3-point shooting, we don't need to outshoot them, but we probably need to be close within like 2 or 3 threes of them, then we can win the game. But I just don't think it's going to happen.
You're going to have to play them
surrounded
close
by shooters, and we don't have any shooters.
You're going to have to play them close the whole game. If you can play them close the whole game, you leave yourself a chance. I think our game is going to go very similar to our game against Colorado from earlier this year, where we're going to be close with them for most of the game. We might even be leaving at halftime. But ultimately, they'll pull away in the last 5 minutes or so, and we'll probably lose close to double digits. But we'll cover. Good teams win, great teams cover.
Unless you pick the other team to cover. Baby. All right, so I think that concludes the first round.
Go to the East.
Wait, I didn't pick an upset in that round, did I? Okay, give me Eastern Washington over Kansas.
Whoa!
That's kind of rude.
Kaelyb catching strays over here.
Imagine
all right,
2
so we got
Spokane teams winning the first round.
So
Are we going through?
Yeah, I think we're staying in the region. Yeah, we're going to go through each region and pick our regional champ. Okay. So we have. I think we all picked Gonzaga versus Oklahoma, right?
No, I picked Missouri.
Here.
Oh, that's right. Jaden picked Missouri.
But I'll make it easy. Gonzaga wins, like everyone else predicts, I'd assume.
Yep. Gonzaga.
We're right in the 1 seed here. We're right in 1. Who did we have going? 8 or dude? We had Oklahoma,
8.
Correct?
Most people did. I had Missouri.
We'll go 8. Yeah.
Why would you
write it on the inside of the
yeah.
Dude, it's not as easy as you. There we go.
No, it doesn't look easy, but you made it a lot more difficult on yourself putting it on the outside. Yeah, I think Gonzaga is just too good. Oklahoma is going to be a good test for them because, like we all agreed, well, most of us outside of Jaden, Oklahoma's underseeded, and they can play. So if the Sooners can keep it close with Gonzaga, because the game with BYU was weird. It wasn't really a close game. Like Gonzaga got blown out in the first half and dominated them in the second half. At really no point was it like a back and forth close matchup. Gonzaga is really yet to be in one of those. And if Oklahoma can play in one of those for Gonzaga, I think it's going to be a good learning experience for them. Because if you can win close games, that obviously will help you a lot more in the tournament than being able to win blowouts. Obviously, if you can blow out teams, you don't have to worry about it at all. But statistics say that you're not going to be able to blow out 6 consecutive teams. At some point, you're going to have to play a close game. And if you're Gonzaga, you really haven't yet. So if Oklahoma gives them a close matchup in the round of 32, that could set them up real well going forward for the rest of the tournament, especially if they're still able to win comfortably in a back and forth game that they pull away from at the end.
I think it's an easy write-in for all of us going Gonzaga to the next round.
Easy write-in, Kaelyb.
I just think with those 8 to 9 seeds playing in that top part, you're gonna have to play the most complete game you've played all year to make that upset happen. And I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Oklahoma beat some very good teams this year. They beat Texas. I think they beat Oklahoma State. Here's the thing. Oklahoma's cold right now, but it's about getting hot at the right time. And this matchup reminds me a lot of the Duke UCF matchup from 2 years ago.
Hey, Taco.
I think this is going to be a really close game throughout. I'm going to pick Gonzaga to win, but Gonzaga is like teetering on the edge We saw them play BYU way closer than they should have because BYU shouldn't even be a tournament team. We'll get to that later. The fact that the WCC is a multi-bid conference is just sort of ridiculous to me. But I digress.
And no West Coast Conference hate.
People forget the Dons of San Francisco have won 2 national championships.
Yeah, with Bill Russell.
Yeah, Bill Russell. Bill Russell.
Anyways, I'll pick Gonzaga to win this game, but it's going to be really close, and people are going to start to get concerned about Gonzaga after this game.
Ben, I'm with you there. I think Oklahoma is, for me, one of the more scarier teams that we're going to, if obviously we advance, have to face. And for the exact reasons you just said. So I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, I could very easily see this being the closest game Gonzaga has to play in the region.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Sweet 16 is looking pretty promising.
Okay.
Hey.
So I think the next matchup.
Boys,
How
I have
many
to
of us-
claim my prophecy. Creighton is playing Gonzaga, and Creighton is
What do
going to
we
move
think?
on to the Sweet 16.
Right in Creighton? Right in Creighton? Or...
Creighton.
Well, not everyone picked Creighton to win.
Only
No.
one person picked UCSB or whatever.
Well, let's do a tally right now. Who had USB or who had USC? Who had UCSB?
I'm going UCSB, but and it could go either way. But I'm picking
Right.
UCSB, but I think they'll lose in the round of 32.
I think we're just gonna. I think we're just gonna.
I'm
putting
personally going
Creighton.
So
Creighton.
for all
but-
intents and purposes.
And I
I'm
think
going
most people had
Creighton myself.
Ohio after that.
Yeah. Yeah, I had the Bobcats.
I had Virginia, and
I had Virginia.
I'll pick Creighton to beat Virginia because I
Oh,
don't think Virginia matches up
Just for
very
the
well
meme.
against Creighton.
But-
Yeah, that is
Creighton.
what I will say. I think UCSB will beat Creighton, but if Creighton beats UCSB, I liked how they match up with Virginia very well. I think they beat Virginia. But if UCSB wins first round, I got Virginia beating the Gauchos.
I took Ohio over Virginia.
I did
I
too.
think Jason Preston's a fantastic player. He's not good enough to beat Creighton. Creighton's going to the Sweet 16. They face the Zags.
Let's go.
Circle
All right.
that date, March 27th or whatever they play, 27 or 28.
We'll write
Circle
that.
that date.
Matchup of the century,
The
boys.
Zags and the Blue Jays, somewhere in Middle America. We're gonna have the Blue Jays, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But I think we had USC beating the winner of Wichita State and Drake outside of Jaden,
had
and
Drake.
outside of Ben, we had Kansas beating Eastern Washington. USC Kansas. This is interesting for me. I think Kansas is overseeded. USC's underseeded. Evan and Isaiah Mobley team up. Trojans are going to the Sweet 16.
Agreed. I think USC all the way.
I'm just gonna have to disagree. I think I'm gonna have to take Kansas. I think we were getting hot prior to our mobilization in the Big 12 tournament. I think we were just getting hot, and I think we still got a lot left in our tank. So I'm gonna have to go Kansas here.
I
know this
agree
is
with
a
you,
bit
Kaelyb.
annoying,
Kansas
but I'm gonna
really
pick
was
Drake.
getting hot, and I think if they hadn't had the COVID issue, they would have won the Big 10 or Big 12. Sorry.
12.
Yeah, I think they would have won the
I'm
Big
with
12
you.
if that hadn't happened, and I think they would have been primed for a big tourney run. But because of the COVID issue, I have them losing first round. Eastern Washington, USC wins this game.
Oh, okay. I'm going with Kansas because
condoms
I
in
feel
the
like they're
Sweet
built
16.
more for March than USC is. And also, if we're gonna go based off everything else, I put Colorado further than USC because they've lost to Colorado 3 times already. And I just think Kansas is built for March more. They got the players, they got a great point guard, they got a great coach. And I can see them going at least to the Sweet 16 early date.
I got Cinderella Drake into my Sweet 16. They take down USC, then they take down Kansas, and they're in the Sweet 16. That's my
Love it.
that's my take.
Okay. Yep.
What? As much as it hurts me, I'll put in USC, but I don't think they're built to. I think that they lack the consistency to beat a team like Kansas. Like Blake said, they did lose to Colorado 3 times, and
We're a really good team.
but so is Kansas. I'm not trying to doubt
Yeah.
CU in any way. I'm just saying
Caleb, you're
that
the only person that picked Kansas.
No, I
Oh, wait, did Blake?
Blake chose Kansas.
yeah, I chose.
Yeah, Kaelyb picked USC.
Oh no, I chose Kansas.
Didn't you just say US?
No, he
No,
said
That's what the
Kansas.
consensus was.
Oh,
I think.
okay.
was
He said
the
USC.
consensus.
I was
Yeah.
consenting
Oh,
to it. Yeah.
Okay.
No, as we talked about with the first
No,
round,
put the
the
6 on there. We
superstars,
agreed
the
6,
superstars
Kaelyb.
go for.
No.
No, I
Kaelyb,
don't
put
think
the
I
6
will.
on.
Yeah,
What were you
we
saying,
put
Kyle?
6/11 because Drake's there too.
Drake's
Jaden.
not making it.
Hey, Drake is
Hey,
gonna go.
you're gonna live that down, bro. When
Drake's
I talk
not even
to
gonna
you
play
in
on
person,
Sunday.
dude, Drake will. Drake is playing on my birthday. That's my birthday wish.
I'm
Make
just
it
gonna
happen,
write
Drake.
this in now because we all know what's happening. So
Oh, okay.
Lovely. Okay.
Everyone wondering what I'm doing. It's a
last
load.
thing I'll say about USC Kansas
Not
is
horns, load.
like we talked about the first round. The superstars can carry teams far, and USC's got a superstar. So
Yeah.
Kansas doesn't really have a superstar. So I got Trojans over Jayhawks.
You don't
I
like
take the
Garrett?
complete. I'll take a
Trojan
complete
horse.
team over just one. I'll take the complete team. I like the
Yeah.
Jayhawks. They were getting hot. I'm going Jayhawk all the way.
Well,
Hey, it'll be a
Taj
good
Eady
game.
and
It'll be a
Isaiah
good
Mobley
game.
are
It'll be a good game.
fantastic players. Don't just think it's Evan Mobley. There's multiple players on that USC
yeah.
team that are very, very
They're
good.
talented.
Taj
for sure.
Eady's the guy with the buzzer beater against UCLA that got USC the 2 seed in the tournament, which ironically might have ended their season, but whatever.
Drake's just too good.
So next round we have, regardless of what Kaelyb put up there, we have Iowa versus Oregon, 7 versus 3.
Hey, boo! No, it's Grand Canyon. VCU versus Grand Canyon. Calm down. What's going on?
Okay. This is an interesting matchup. I think Oregon versus Iowa might be the matchup of the second round on this side of the bracket.
Agreed.
It's going to be, I think Chris Duarte versus Luka Garza is the matchup. If Duarte can outplay Garza, it's Oregon's game to lose. If Garza can take over and outplay Duarte, it's Iowa's game to lose. I'm very hesitant to even make a decision on this game because I think it's going to come down to the last possession. Whoever gets it last is going to win this game. I'll do my little Conference of Champions Bill Walton. I've got 5 Pac-12 teams in my Final 4. It's a little Bill Walton there as well.
No.
But I
Conference.
I think with this game, what we're going to see is a lot of runs just dispersed over time, and it's just going to be a game of.
agree.
It's just going to be a game of each team kind of answering each other over each span of each half. So I agree with Trevor. I think it's going to be kind of a last possession kind of thing.
Who gets their run last, basically.
Yeah.
I'm going with Iowa because I think USC is better than Oregon in my opinion, but and I don't really think that there's going to be 2 Pac-12 teams on this side going that far. So for me, I'm going to Iowa personally.
Well, in my round of 32, I got VCU versus Grand Canyon. And, I've heard they got a great 7-footer. I've heard they're great at field goal percentages. I'm taking Grand Canyon to play Drake in the Sweet 16.
Wow.
Yes, sir. First
Ropes
15
up.
seed to make it a little bit, I think. Who knows?
What?
But
No,
second all time.
Florida Gulf Coast beat
Yeah.
Georgetown,
they're
and
doing
then
the same thing. Hey, we'll talk about Georgetown later. Kyle, shut up.
2013. That was me first off, and not 2013 Georgetown. We won't.
Sorry, Kyle. I didn't mean to hate on you. I just figured you'd know Georgetown.
You know
It
what?
was him in the intro.
I think Luka Garza kind of takes over in that back portion of the game, but I think with Oregon's perimeter shooting, I'm going to have to take Oregon in this one.
Okay.
I take Iowa, but I think Oregon's going to show that they're a really good team. Iowa's just a little bit better, and Luka Garza is going to push him over the edge.
I think we can all agree that Iowa is probably one of the weaker 2 seeds in this tournament.
Yeah, that's why they're
So,
losing the
I
Grand
disagree.
Canyon.
I think they're the best 2 seed.
Oh,
Really?
Ohio State, easy.
Oh wait, I forgot about Alabama though. So
Roll Tide.
Oh, Alabama.
maybe I retract
You know
that
what?
statement.
We'll put it in there, but I think it's I don't know, we'll see.
It's gonna be a very good game. It's gonna come down to the wire.
Yeah, I agree. Now this is where I
The
kind of
matchup of the century.
This is where I get worried for the Zags. I'm not gonna lie, Blake. This is where I'm kind of talking that second or third round exit.
For me personally, I haven't watched Creighton a lot this year. I know they got an insane center or something, but I mean, I just think with our team that we got this year, I think we're at least going to the Final 4. But I'll let you guys say your thing.
Well, you better let me say my thing, Blake. Blake, last year the tournament was canceled. I predicted Creighton would beat Gonzaga, and it's still happening. It's a time over tell. We're letting it happen. Creighton, baby. Creighton's got this. They're BPI'd 15 according to ESPN. Oh yeah, that's better than 1 because bigger numbers are better. Let's go, Creighton.
All right.
Motivation.
I'm gonna take the Blue Jays on this one.
Let's go.
I'm choosing the Blue Jays because I worry about Gonzaga's ability to win games when they're not at home against ranked opponents back-to-back times. I worry about their ability to do it. So I'm going to go with the Blue Jays on this one.
Somewhere in Middle America, they're going to be celebrating because Creighton is going to the Elite Eight.
Wow.
We're going down in flames when Gonzaga wins by 20 in this round, but damn if they don't.
Raw dogs, Bulldogs, Gonzaga wing.
You guys, if this matchup actually happens, side point, if this matchup actually happens, I'm putting $100 on Creighton. Hold me to it. I will. Don't.
And you'll be
I will.
$100 into the fight.
You can actually do it.
I'm putting $100 on Creighton.
It's March.
Put money on Oregon State.
Joker in the tournament. They are not winning this game.
Gonzaga's not losing this to Creighton.
Gonzaga
is going to lose before the Final Four because they will find a way to lose before the Final Four. And ain't going to be Creighton.
Are you
I don't know.
Creighton?
I like Creighton. Creighton's a good team. They're top 20 on KenPom. And I know y'all don't necessarily love KenPom, but I think it typically does a very good job of estimating the talents of two teams.
Trevor. It's just that's your only metric that you use to measure teams.
Yeah, use
records.
Hey, GCU has a better record than Iowa. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
I'm just saying this is the perfect time for Gonzaga to reset for next year. That's all I'm going to throw in there. Last statement.
Creighton's 13 on BPI, Jaden.
Ooh. Okay.
Colorado's 18. Southern Cal is 16.
South
We
Carolina.
got a split. I think we got a 3 versus 3 split on this one.
Hey, Trevor, where's Metro on the BPI? I'm just
somewhere in Division 2. I think if we had
thanks.
gone to Division 1, we actually probably would be a decent team at some point.
Yeah,
but
agree.
I just don't think
sad.
You can even do a Georgetown and Villanova because they share their arenas with the Wizards and the 76ers. We could go to Pepsi Center.
At the Pepsi Center.
Yeah, that would have all the accommodations. I'm sorry, the ball sack, as they call it now. But that would have all the accommodations required to.
Patriots got another receiver.
Broncos got Ronald Darby.
Yeah, I saw that.
So who are we as a collective unit choosing for this game?
Realistically, Gonzaga.
Realistically, yeah.
I have Creighton on my brackets, but realistically, it's Gonzaga.
Yeah.
I'm going down in flames with Creighton.
We'll go one.
I respect that. Okay, next matchup.
Do you want me to say mine first since it's so off?
Yes.
Yeah,
so I've got, according to ESPN, I got Wichita/Drake versus Grand Canyon. As you're all aware, it's Drake. This is a hard one. I've heard that Grand Canyon has a 7-footer. Those guys are tall. I don't know if Drake could have anyone that tall. But Drake tore his ACL. I'm gonna have to go with Grand Canyon. Drake's still recovering from his ACL injury. Hasn't dropped his album. We're going Grand Canyon versus Creighton in the Elite Eight, boys.
I need you.
Grand Canyon against.
I don't want it. I need that matchup in the Elite Eight. I need it.
I need you to understand, please, that Drake the University is different than Drake the singer.
Trevor, do I have to clarify?
Rapper?
Yeah, Drake is a singer, but no, I heard Drake is recovering from his ACL, so I just can't go with them. I'm sorry.
Okay, fine. Our matchup, not Kaelyb's, is USC versus Iowa.
Boo!
You can do your own matchup.
Boo!
Yeah, Kaelyb, do your own matchup first then.
Yeah.
Jayhawks versus Iowa.
I thought you had Oregon beating Iowa. Actually, I thought you had Oregon beating Grand Canyon. Because you had Grand Canyon.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, how'd you get Iowa? I thought you picked Grand Canyon with me.
Well, I
Wow.
mean, I'm sticking to the realism on the bracket.
You guys, if I wanted to stick to the realism, I would have picked all the high numbers, okay? Because they're the
on
best.
my bracket, I have
enough.
this matchup. I have Kansas versus Iowa, and I'm not really sure where I lie on it because I'm just so neutral because they're both solid teams. They're I always get so nervous in the Sweet 16 with Kansas because I feel like we just never can kind of get over the hill. So as much as I'm rooting for Kansas, I would have to take Iowa in this matchup.
Wow.
Okay, so the rest of us have USC versus Iowa. This is interesting to me. This is really where it's going to show how much Evan Mobley can lead this team.
Mhm.
And Iowa, I think, is better than Colorado on paper. And Evan Mobley could not. He got
Bold
close.
of you to say that.
He got close in the third matchup. Got ran out of the building the first two times. I have Iowa in this game. I think it's Iowa going to the Elite Eight, but I think it's going to be a really good game. And Evan Mobley is not going to let USC die. He's going to take it down to the last few minutes, the last few possessions. And if they have a chance and he has the ball with the last shot, I could see USC in the Elite Eight. I mean, hell, they've got enough players on that team that it doesn't need to be Evan Mobley taking the final shot. But I'm just saying, if Evan Mobley has anything to do with it, I mean, like we said, when you have a stud like that, that's how you can make runs. Cade Cunningham at the 4 seed with Oklahoma State. Those are the types of teams that are a little lower in the bracket, in the seeding, that can make massive runs because they have such a good player. I do think it's Iowa. I have them facing Creighton in the Elite Eight. I gave them Gonzaga for the consensus, but for the next round, I'll be doing Creighton versus Iowa.
Creighton.
Not to be racist,
Oh boy.
Oh my God.
but Luka
no.
Garza is a better basketball player than Evan Mobley.
Well, it's because
So
his
I'll
name's
pick
Luca,
Iowa.
like Doncic.
Like Doncic.
Okay, that's better than I thought it was going to be.
No, yeah, I like Iowa in this game. Even if Oregon wins, I like Oregon over USC. I think Oregon's a better team than USC, and I definitely think Iowa's a better team than USC. Mobley's a great player and all, but I think USC's run's going to end in the Sweet 16. Give me Iowa/Oregon in the Elite Eight.
Dude, I never said it. Hold up. For Oregon, that's Bol Bol University. Never even said it. What the heck is
Justin
wrong with you?
Herbert University.
Bol Bol is better. Calm down.
Okay, so we have a bit of a holy war going
Offensive
on.
Rookie of the Year and Rookie of the Year. You
Bol
calm
Bol,
down.
Rookie of the Year this year and future MVP.
Oh my God. Alrighty, I think we've made it to the Elite Eight, our final matchup of the East. The West region.
Ooh.
For me, I'll go first. I've got Creighton versus Iowa. I'm all in on Creighton. I'll just go by the bracket I've filled out. I've got the Jays going to the Final Four.
Ooh.
But if we're being realistic, if that matchup happens, Iowa's better team, and they would be going to the Final Four. But for the sake of this podcast, I'm taking Creighton. Jaden and I are rocking with the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I was gonna say Creighton versus Grand Canyon. It's a fight between my two children, pretty much. I know Grand Canyon has a 7-footer, but I gotta be honest. I think the birds can fly above 7 feet. I got Creighton.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry. They can just fly over the Grand Canyon. Come on, it's not a giant hole in the ground to them.
Fair point.
I mean, I
got
got my
Gonzaga.
Zags, so
I think this is Gonzaga's year. They're gonna make the Final Four. This is the most talented Gonzaga team they've ever had, and I think this is the most well-rounded Gonzaga team that we've ever seen.
Side point: first Final Four in their history. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
If that does
I think
happen.
Gonzaga. I think this is Gonzaga's year. They're gonna make it to the Final Four.
Wow.
We need to clarify. We're doing a meme from
No.
PMT, but
Trevor, this is truth.
it is
This
Gonzaga's
truth.
first Final Four.
Just for the meme, I'm gonna choose Iowa because I don't want Gonzaga to go to the Final Four. So I'm a Luka Garza all the way. Let's go.
Gonzaga's the best team in the country. If they did go on a run and win every game and win the national championship, I don't think it would be a question that they're the best team in the 21st century. However, this is Gonzaga we're talking about here.
Ooh.
They've never made a Final Four. They are so good. They are better than any other school in the country at choke jobs.
Mm-hmm.
They're better than Kansas.
Bam! Just like that, Gonzaga is done. Iowa takes the region.
Wow.
Ugh.
Wow.
And
I like the
GCU
take.
lost to Iowa. I'm just gonna say that. Iowa's closest game of the whole region is GCU.
All
Okay.
right, can we
Well, so-
finally
That's big,
move
that's
on
big.
to the East?
Well,
No, actually, I'm going to spend another half an hour on the West. God damn it, Creighton.
I think we're just
Creighton.
gonna, write in our boys from Iowa for that one.
That's not Creighton.
Actually, I think we had 2 Creightons, 2 Iowas, and 2 Gonzagas. So we're
Yeah.
kind of all over
Wow.
the place.
You should just put all the numbers in there.
1, 2, 5.
Yeah, sure. 1, 2, 1, 5. There you go. 2, 1,
I have a
5.
personal
There you go.
request.
There you go.
Can we go to the South first because Blake wanted to go to the East just to
Yeah,
cite him?
sure.
Yeah,
we can
yeah,
go
yeah.
to
We'll go to the
Thank
South.
you.
We'll
Thank
go to
you.
the South.
I
We'll go to the
appreciate it.
South.
Why is the South at the top?
That's how my
This
South
was
The
just-
South will
this is
rise up
just-
again.
This is
The
Oh.
just
South will rise again.
Whoa, Trevor, racism.
How is that racism? It's a joke because it's on the top
Fuck
of the
the
bracket.
South.
Trevor,
Trevor, I am
racism.
2/15 black. Fuck you.
Thank you, Ben. Someone had to speak up for African Americans in this podcast. Fuck
Okay,
you, Trevor.
Baylor versus Hartford. I'm taking the Bears. It's Hartford's
let's
first
just
NCAA
let's
tournament
let's
appearance.
get it out of the way. Let's get it out of the way.
I'm taking
Isn't
one seed Baylor.
Hartford like
Connecticut.
Oh, I know
The
that. I was gonna say,
Yardigans.
isn't it like a financial firm or something?
The Hartford.
Yeah, I'll pick Baylor.
No, it's Harvard. They're an Ivy League school actually. It's Harvard.
Oh, okay.
You guys,
Ivy League
Baylor's a
didn't play
week
this
1 seed. I know Hartford's in Connecticut. I'm taking Baylor.
Oh,
Sorry,
thank God.
I had to juke everyone out.
Because with you, I don't know.
year. You just put Grand Canyon in the Elite Eight.
I know, exactly.
Well, it's because they're one of the elite 8 teams in the country.
Jaden, I
That's-
hate you.
It's because we have
Just
Okay.
a little bit.
They have a 7-footer too. That's what I've heard.
and we have multiple 6'10" guys, so size is
Whoa.
an advantage.
And if they can jump like you, they're pretty much 8 foot.
Yeah, basically.
That's scary.
Okay, so next matchup.
Unfortunately, they're white, so they don't have my height.
I've got
Okay.
North Carolina on this one because Wisconsin is kind of going downhill lately. So I'm going with
I
the
don't
hot
like-
team, North Carolina.
I don't
Agreed,
like
I got
Wisconsin at
Carolina.
all in this matchup. I'm going UNC. The Heels.
You guys are just hating on 9 seeds. Wisconsin's got tall people. They're up in the north. They got Aaron Rodgers. I'm taking Wisconsin.
I am taking North Carolina solely off the fact because Roy Williams has the experience. I think he gets the job done. I think he doesn't go further, but I think he does win this game.
I really want to take Wisconsin because I think they're underseeded and I think they can make a run. But Roy Williams has never lost in the first round ever. So North Carolina.
So I think that's an 8.
All right.
Catching
Yeah.
out Roy Williams. I like it.
This next one's
Wisconsin.
interesting.
This is interesting. Yeah, this was one of the toughest picks for me in the first
A
think
round.
this is-
really, really hot Winthrop team and a Villanova team that hasn't played in a week and a half, not because of COVID, because they got knocked out in their first game of the Big East tournament. So they've only played one game in like the last 2 weeks coming into this tournament.
So they're fresh.
Not to mention, they also don't have their star guard anymore. He's out for the
Yep.
for the
They
summer,
haven't won a game
so.
since he got hurt.
They're
Yeah,
fresh, but they're cold, and I'm taking the Eagles.
I'm going with the Eagles as well.
Yeah, I pinned in the Eagles because don't they have a dude that has 3 triple doubles on the year? Isn't that right?
I think it's more than that. His name is Bodrin, and I was told, is like a triple double machine. And if you know me, I love triple doubles.
Westbrook.
No.
I just am putting Winthrop in the elite in the Sweet 16
Yeah.
on that.
What?
Wow.
I was also on the Winthrop train. It was hard for me to gauge just because it is Villanova, but also they're cold and they lost their dude. So I'm pinning in Winthrop.
You
So we
guys,
got
everyone's
12.
hating on Villanova. Winthrop, their logo looks like the Atlanta Hawks logo. I'm not a big fan of Trae Young. I'm going to have to go with Villanova here.
Yeah,
Love the
I agree. I
rationale.
think it'll be a very good matchup because I think Villanova's the worst 5 seed, especially without their star player. Winthrop's pretty good. They only lost one game all year. I think it'll be very close, but I still got Villanova winning it in the end. So at the end of the day, Big East is still a very good conference. And Villanova, it was the best team in the regular season in that conference. All right, well, best record. I still think Creighton's better, but
Yeah,
I think Villanova will win, but I think I don't think either team's special.
My issue is I feel like they've become more closer to that one-dimensional side after losing the guard. So that's kind of where I struggle taking them in this matchup, especially in March.
Fun fact, in the last 10 tournaments, Villanova has either been eliminated the first weekend or won it all every time they've been in it.
And they're not winning it all this year. So
no, they're getting knocked
out.
You don't know
that.
Winthrop,
you don't know that.
I may have to take Winthrop too. Then shoot, yeah, I don't think either team's that special, but yeah.
Okay, so next matchup we got the Mean Green of North Texas.
This one's
So,
difficult.
Worst matchup in the first round.
North Texas was down 48-41 with like 3 minutes left in the CUSA title game, and went on a 7-0 run to tie it, and then won it in overtime against Western Kentucky.
This game's going to end 36-37.
I have
these
Purdue.
two teams are terrible.
It's going to be like throwing a basketball into a peach basket. They're
going to be shooting bricks all night long. They're going to be better bricklayers than Troy Aikman with Acme over here.
Look, Purdue's got the height. They're one of the tallest teams in the tournament this year. But I don't know. North Texas slows it down a little bit. They play their game. I think that this has major potential for an upset.
Could be. I'm still taking Purdue though. I think Purdue is still going to win this. I think they'll win by 5-10.
In close game, in low scoring games, the lower seed is always going to have a chance. But I still think Purdue is going to win by 7 or 8. But it's not going to be a close 7 or 8. It's like the Wisconsin games back at the beginning of this decade or last decade, where they were winning games 48-41, and where on paper it looks like it's 2 or 3 shots, but those 2 or 3 shots would take like 7 or 8 minutes just because of how bad both teams were shooting.
Yeah.
So,
you guys, this is a difficult one for me. I got the Mean Green, and I love mean and green, especially in basketball. If you're mean and you're green, you got a chance.
Deadly.
But I got to be honest. With yesterday's announcement that Drew Brees retired, they got to do it for Drew Brees. I'm going Purdue.
Alrighty then.
Alrighty.
I said it earlier. There's going to be a 13 seed that beats a 4 seed. This game's going to end 37-36. Purdue's going to win though. The Big Ten is 10-1 in the first round in the last 2 tournaments. So,
it's just going to be the absolute worst. It's going to be so
terrible.
bad. It's going to be so bad. Like,
it's going to be a rock
I'm actually
fight.
going to enjoy it. It's going to be a very close game.
It's going to be so ugly. It's going to be beautiful, basically.
Anyways,
old-fashioned basketball.
I got Texas Tech on the next one.
This was an interesting one for me.
Utah State's good, but I think they were one of those bubble teams, if I'm mistaken. And
yeah,
I watched that game over the weekend. I think it was Texas versus Texas Tech, right? Yeah, Texas Tech, they're pretty good, so I'm gonna take them.
Red Raiders.
Texas Tech is underseeded. Texas Tech is really underseeded.
Yeah.
I think this game has upset written on it. But
I don't know.
What I said, we've talked earlier about how one guy can kind of carry a team. I think Matt McClung can carry Texas Tech.
Yep.
So I'm going to take the Red Raiders because also the Mountain West sucks.
Yeah, I don't like the Mountain West, so I got to go.
We're not going to talk about 44, who based his number off of a Wendy's combo meal.
Yeah,
talk about that.
Legend.
Jaden has that album on.
Dude's a walking legend. You know what? For the 4 for 4, I'm taking Utah State.
Let's go, Utah State 4 for 4.
4 for 4.
4 for 4. You got the best.
They're opening up the game. 4 for 4 from 3.
I'm taking the 6. Texas Tech is going to the round of 30.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Utah State, they have a guy that's come on, man.
He's a walking stud.
Man.
He's a walking stud.
Yeah, come on. Who doesn't name their number after a 4 for 4 meal? Mine's just half of that.
That's what I'm saying, but
mine's 2
Here's
for 2
the next game, though. Here's the next game. we have a toothpaste facing Jerry Jones
Ooh.
University.
Ooh.
Colgate versus Arkansas, the SEC. Arkansas, unranked back in February. They went on a huge run coming up through the rest of the regular season. They somehow got seeded 3. If you're going to pick a 14 over a 3, I'd say this is your matchup. I myself am taking Arkansas, but I think it's going to be a rock fight again. I just don't think the Razorbacks are that good of a team, and I think that they'll make it into the next round, but that's as far as they're going to go.
I think the SEC is definitely, they kind of limped into this year's March Madness, in my opinion. Like, Alabama was obviously a standout. Like, they have the studs to prove it, but I think overall it was a pretty weak conference this year. So with that being said, 14-1, those dudes have fresh legs. I'm taking toothpaste, 14-3.
Toothpaste.
Arkansas has lost 1 game all year when at full health. They're 15-1, I think is what it is. Maybe it's 14-1. I don't know. Arkansas is an easy pick for me here.
Same here.
I'm going Arkansas.
Same here. I like Arkansas's chances a lot better than you guys. I think Arkansas is a really good team. SEC did kind of limp into it. I don't know how far they're going to go, but I think they'll beat Colgate pretty good first round.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be honest. I like talking about Toothpaste. Toothpaste is an awesome team. Toothpaste did a lot to get here. But I'm going to have to go with the Arkansas Razorbacks. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Arkansas for the win.
Wait, no, yeah, Arkansas for the win. So yeah, Arkansas.
Yeah.
What's next game?
What happened to our guide?
We got, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm texting someone. We got 7 versus 10. The Gators of Florida, the Hokies of Virginia Tech, ACC, SEC. This is an interesting matchup to me. Florida, very much like the next 5 seed we're going to have in the Midwest, I think it is. Tennessee. They have such a high ceiling, but they don't play consistently enough. Whereas Virginia Tech, you can see the 15-6. I think they're a little underseeded here at a 10 seed. I'm taking the Hokie Pokies into the round of 32 because I don't think Florida is quite as good as they're seeded. And I think they're going to have a blast of inconsistency in this matchup. A lot of the problem with inconsistent teams in March Madness is you can't figure it out. If you have an inconsistent game, you're done. It's not like the regular season where you can kind of be inconsistent and still get a good seed, be rewarded for it. But Virginia Tech is a good team. They've been solid all year, evidenced by their 15-6 record. The ACC and SEC, I both believe, are down as a whole. I think they both got a large amount of seeds because they're the ACC and the SEC, but that doesn't mean that they're good teams, quality teams. And I think Florida is a perfect example of that. And I know Virginia Tech is an ACC team, but I think the ACC got penalized more than the SEC did for having a down year. So I'm taking Virginia Tech over Florida into the round of 32.
Agreed.
Agreed. I think Virginia Tech's slow-paced kind of game with how they attack the basket and move their perimeter is definitely going to be their bread and butter. I think Florida's I think they're going to run out of steam in this game very early, and I think Virginia Tech's running away with this one. I'm calling a double-digit win by the Hokie Pokies.
Yeah, this one's easy for me. VOD Tech, baby.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about Virginia Tech. Kaelyb said they're going to get run out of steam. I doubt that. They got Gatorade, okay? They invented Gatorade down there. You can't run out of steam without Gatorade.
Tim Tebow University.
Clearly, they got this. Tim Tebow University, home of Aaron Hernandez. They're taking it home, baby.
Okay, wait a minute.
Initially, I was penciling in Virginia Tech like most of you guys. So it just seemed like an easy pick to me. I've done a little bit of research.
Ooh.
Florida feels like the type of team primed to make a run. Because I personally haven't thought they were very good for most of the year, but they do have that kind of potential. And a team that hasn't been very good that has that potential is usually the type of team that goes on these runs to like the Elite Eight or Final Four that we don't expect. So I'm going to pick Florida in this matchup.
The thing that makes me uneasy about them is I haven't been kept up on Florida, so I kind of looked up to it. Their only real notable win is West Virginia, and they won it at West Virginia by 5. But then you look at Virginia's resume.
Mouse 3 seed.
You look at Virginia Tech's resume. They have Virginia beating them by 14. They beat Clemson by 5 or by 6. I don't know. I think that the Hokey Pokeys just have a better resume. So I'm
Resume
confident
is
with that
just a
pick.
piece of paper. I care about what happens on game day. Florida's got this.
So we're kind of split. Do you want to write down a 10 and a 7 in the next round?
Yeah.
Okay,
Why
so our
did you
final
put the
matchup.
10 first?
'Cause
That
that's the way
upsets
I
my
said it.
eyeballs.
I'm sorry, Jaden. So the next matchup we have to round out the first round is Ohio State, the 2 seed, Oral Roberts, the 15 seed. I don't think there's much discussion here, at least on my end. Ohio State, the Buckeyes are going to face, in my opinion, Virginia Tech in the round of 32, although when we get to the conversations about Florida versus Ohio State, I'll throw something up that I talked to Kaelyb about last night. But I have Ohio State in the round of 32.
Likewise, didn't take much thought for me. I think Ohio State. I think they're a well put together team. I think they play old fashioned basketball a little bit. They take care of the ball. I'm very big on Ohio State.
Yep.
It feels like they're
I
peaking
think this
too.
could be the biggest blowout of the first round for 15 versus 2 as well. I think Ohio State's going to kill them.
Yeah,
I agree with Kyle. I think this game's not going to be close.
no.
Yeah, I got
However-
Ohio State moving on, playing Lowell 7.
Or Oral Roberts has the leading points per game player in the nation.
Who cares? They're not good. They have to have a dude step up for them to
Kinda
compete.
cool.
I don't
Hey,
care.
that's a fun fact, Kaelyb. You don't have to get so mad about it. I still picked Ohio State to blow them out.
You know what? He
Some
needs to
reason
be
in
the
nature.
leading. He needs to be the leading scorer, one of the leading scorers in the nation, in order for his team to make the
He's
tournament.
the
So,
leading
yeah, that
scorer,
is
not
cool.
one of.
He has
All right.
to. He has to play that role for them to even make the tournament.
Before we have a holy war,
Why are we
Let's
so
move
upset
on.
about Ohio?
let's move on
We're
to the next
deleting it.
round. I agree with Jaden. Let's delete the state of Ohio. But we got 1 versus 8 in the next round. Baylor versus North Carolina. Did any of us pick Wisconsin? Did Jaden
Yeah,
you
I
pick
picked Wisconsin because of the
Of course you-
height.
I thought you picked them because we were showing disrespect to 9 seeds.
Oh, well, yeah, and I also like Aaron Rodgers. So, yeah,
Oh,
stop
that's
being
right,
mean to
that's
the
right,
9
that's right.
seeds.
Baylor versus North Carolina. This is really Baylor hasn't been a dominant team, like a team that looks this primed to make a very deep run into a tournament in a long time. Whereas North Carolina, they're having a down year, but they're still coached by Roy Williams. They also look like they're peaking at the right time. They choked at the end. No, that was Florida State. Never mind. But they made it to the semifinals of the ACC tournament. Again, I'm not high on the ACC at all this year, but North Carolina seems to be peaking at the right time. If there's a team, I think North Carolina could win this game. I'm not ballsy enough to pick them. I still think Baylor's good enough and is going to win, but I think North Carolina can really put a scare into the Bears.
Scare the
Yeah,
Bears.
I think they could,
Yeah.
but I think Baylor all the way. I think Sick'em Bears. I think Baylor's a very good team. A lot of people are saying Baylor deserved to be number 1 seed. I'm not sure if they did either, but they're clearly a top 6 team in the country. I think Baylor all the way.
I think any team coached by Roy Williams has a chance. Like they're gonna compete at a high level for a duration of the game, but I think at the end of the day, it's gonna have to be with how the year's been going and how the players have been formed in the system. And I think Baylor's definitely taking this one.
I'm not going to lie. I
Baylor's
really
good.
wanted to pick Wisconsin, but, I was thinking about it, and I was like, oh, yeah, Denzel Mims is from Baylor, so I have to go with Baylor here.
Everyone is really low on Baylor for some reason. I think it's because they lost a game recently.
It's recency
people are
bias. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much recency bias with Baylor. I pencil them into the Final Four all the way. Like that's an easy pick for me. I think Baylor is the second best team in the country, and they don't have that historical choking that Gonzaga does because they haven't been a blue blood that's been up there all this time. But Baylor easily for me.
So there's our first of 4 Sweet 16 teams in the region. Here's where it gets fun. 12v4, Winthrop versus Purdue. I think this is where we get one of our first Cinderella teams. I'm with Blake. The Eagles, they're going to the Sweet 16, 12v1. Winthrop takes down Purdue.
Yeah.
Is Grand Canyon not a Cinderella?
Okay,
No,
Jaden.
we have a 7-footer.
Yes, exactly.
Before you guys talk about it, I'm just going to go with Purdue. They're doing it for Drew Brees. They're motivated. I have them facing Baylor in the next round.
I don't think the Purdue basketball team cares too much about Drew Brees retiring.
You don't know about what the Purdue team believes in or not, okay? For all they could care, they could be offended because Villanova starts with a V, okay? They're motivated, goddammit.
V for Vendetta?
Yeah,
What?
exactly. They
V
want
for
to win for
virginity.
Drew Brees.
You know what? Like Ben, when UCF was going on their magical football runs and hadn't lost a game in 2.5, 3 years or whatever it was, I'm going to go off record here. I'm going with the boys at Winthrop.
Agreed.
All right, we're all in on Winthrop.
Why is that
That
off
makes me hate
record?
that pick. Purdue's a very good team. I don't want that to get lost here. The Big Ten is just loaded this year. I think you can make the argument that this year's Big Ten is the best conference ever.
Low key.
So, fly Eagles fly, but
It'll be a
let's
close
not
game.
forget how
It'll
good
be a
Purdue
close
is.
game.
I do like their height. I like their ability because they're one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country, obviously. So I do like that about them, but there's just something about a 12 and a 4 seed in the second round that I really like, and I'm going to take the 12th seed.
You can't bet against my triple-double machine.
All
No.
right. So we get another, what I think is an upset in the next round or in the next matchup. 6 seed Texas Tech, 3 seed Arkansas, Red Raiders. I just think that they're underseeded. They're a better team than Arkansas. They're overseeded. I think it's a perfect matchup of under versus overseeded. It's coming up in the next round. Texas Tech is going to win this game. They're going to make it to the Sweet 16. I think it's time to buy that hype into the Red Raiders. They're a really good team. They're a solid team. And I think we're finally going to see the smoke that was there with Arkansas this whole time. Red Raiders, they're going to face the winner of, I guess, for me, Virginia Tech and Ohio State in the next round.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Big 12 definitely had a standout year based on kind of how everybody was performing. So, yeah, I like Texas Tech in this matchup as well.
Yep, guns up, guns up.
You guys need to stop slandering Arkansas. Arkansas
Thank you.
is so good.
Yes.
Arkansas.
Arkansas is a very good team, but like we said, SEC, they kind of limped in the tournament. Tech's underseeded in the Big 12. I really like Texas Tech. And like we've talked about all the time, like Mac McClung is going to be the best player in that game. And he's shown, especially recently, that he's really dominant college player. I got Texas Tech in this one.
The SEC is going to get at least – they're going to – people always like – you want to like say the SEC hasn't had a good year, which they haven't. But they will find a way to win in March. They always have somebody who will make it at least to the Elite Eight. For me, that's Arkansas this year.
I think it's going to – So I think we'll pencil in 6 and 3, but
yeah.
Well,
all right. Final matchup of the round of 32. We've got, for me, Virginia Tech versus Ohio State. I don't think it's much of a contest. The Buckeyes seem to be peaking at the right time. I know they lost in the Big Ten championship game, but I have Ohio State winning this game easily. But if they play Florida, Kaelyb and I were talking about there's only been one team in college history to win both the football and basketball national championship the same year. It was the 2006-07 Florida Gators, and they beat the Ohio State Buckeyes in the football national championship and the basketball national championship.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there will be PTSD amongst the Buckeye fans if they match up with Florida in this next round. But I think Ohio State is significantly better than Florida and Virginia Tech. So I've got the Buckeyes going to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I'm sold on the Buckeyes this year. I think that they are probably the best ball handling team in the nation. They're not going to beat themselves. I've talked about this with Trevor. I think a team that's not going to beat themselves. I think they're prone to a deep run, and I'm Buckeyes all the way on this one.
Trevor laid out my case beautifully. Florida versus Ohio State, of course, because of the football national championship back in the day. Easy pick, Florida.
I said Florida feels like the type of team to make a run, but I'm with you guys. Ohio State's peaking at the right time. They'll win this game.
Damn.
Go Buckeyes.
Alrighty. So we have our Sweet 16 two matchups to crown the Elite Eight. 1v12. This I think is probably going to be the easy one. Well, it is going to be the easy one. The shoe going to strike midnight. The clock is going to strike midnight. Winthrop's had an incredible run, but Baylor's incredible. And I'm with Ben. I think it has been a lot of recency bias because Baylor lost twice recently, but that's after their COVID break. Before the COVID break, they looked unstoppable. And I think that the Bears are finally starting to get back to that. And losing a close game to Oklahoma State in the Big Ten tourney on a neutral court, it is what it is. I think that Baylor's going to roll over Winthrop and get themselves to the Elite Eight.
Yep,
Agreed.
I agree.
I hate to go against Ben's triple-double machine, but I'm definitely going to have to go the Bears on this one.
I'm going to have to tear
Yeah, I
you
mean,
guys
even
down
Russell
here.
Westbrook can't win a title if it's triple-double, so it's fine.
That's true point. I've got Purdue and Baylor, of course, and I got to watch Purdue in person versus Little Rock when Little Rock had that epic comeback and win.
That's right.
So I got to go with Purdue. Purdue's going to pull an upset of their own.
Okay. So we can pencil in one, but Jaden's going to be working with Purdue.
Yeah.
In Elite Eight.
Go Drew Brees.
They're doing
okay.
Doing it for Drew Brees, boys.
So the next matchup is Texas Tech / Arkansas versus Ohio State. For me, I have Texas Tech versus Ohio State. I think this is going to be our classic region right here. For me, Ohio State's going to beat either of these two teams. I have Texas Tech. I just think Ohio State's way better. Buckeyes will face the Bears for the South Regional Championship.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Ohio State,
Yeah.
Yep.
I have Ohio State and Arkansas in this game. I'm picking the Razorbacks. Said it earlier. The SEC will find a way to get a team into the Elite Eight. That team is going to be Arkansas.
Yeah, I'm looking at mine, and mine's guaranteed for an SEC team. I'm looking at Arkansas, Florida here. I got to go with Arkansas. Kansas is just dominant, so got to go with Arkansas.
What is it, 4-2 in favor of Ohio State?
Yeah, so we'll pencil in 2, but a few of us will be working with
Purdue and
the
Arkansas.
3 seed there. Okay, so 1v2 in the South Regional Final for me, for most of us, I guess. Baylor versus Ohio State. This is the game of the tournament to me. I think we're going to have a really good Final Four, but Baylor versus Ohio State to me is the best 1 seed in the best. Or I actually think Illinois is a better 1 seed, but Baylor might end up being a better team depending if they play like they were before the COVID break. Ben is, like I said, Ben's got me back on the Baylor bandwagon. They are a good team. The recency bias is unfair to them. They've been fantastic for the entire year. They're 22-2. It isn't like they finished 17-8 or something like that. I guess it would be 17-7. But I have Baylor taking out Ohio State. Might be overtime. Might be a 2-point game, something like that. It's going to be a great game. I'm taking Baylor into the Final Four, where they will face the winner of the Midwest region for a spot against maybe Creighton in the championship game.
Ooh, Creighton.
I'm going Baylor.
I think I'm going to have to stick with Ohio State on this one, going with my guts. I think that a team that can limit turnovers and win that battle is going to be I think limiting turnovers in March is probably the biggest battle. Not beating yourself. I'm going with the Buckeyes on this one. I agree.
I think it's such toss-up. And I agree with you, Trevor. I think this could be a game of the tournament. Like, I see this game definitely going to overtime. And at the end of the day, I'm going to go Ohio State because of how strong they've been in the best conference in college basketball. Big 12 is really good too. It's such a toss-up, but I'm going to go with my gut, like Kaelyb said. I'm thinking Ohio State over Baylor.
I have Baylor versus Arkansas in this game. Fun fact, Baylor's head coach, his brother's GCU's head coach. So I'm going to choose to live vicariously through the Bears. Take them.
We'll pencil in Baylor.
All right. Well, I got Purdue and Arkansas. Thank you very much. And I'm torn. I'm not going to lie. If Arkansas wins, they get a chance at Michigan potentially, after winning another game. But
you got to do it for Drew Brees.
Drew Brees. I'm going with Arkansas, boys. They want a shot at Michigan. They want a shot at Michigan. They got to go.
Well, we'll keep that in the back of our head for now, Jaden, okay?
Well, I don't know if they'll make it past LSU, so you never know.
Oh, my God. Okay, let's go to the Midwest.
Gosh.
The next bracket down. Get lower right quadrant. Okay, We got an easy
Illinois.
one to kick things off.
Illinois.
Illinois versus Drexel.
We only
Fighting
gotta talk about it.
Drexel's
It's Illinois.
better. Drexel.
Drexel kind of sounds like that.
Clyde the Glide. They're winning this game. 16 seed beats a 1 seed. Let's go.
I got Drexel, boys. I'm dead ass. Let's
Drexel
go.
like the 6th seed out of the CAA. So Illinois into the round of 32, except for Jaden. This one's going to be fun. The 8 seed Ramblers of Loyola Chicago, the 9 seed Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech. I've got the Ramblers myself, but I think this is a very interesting matchup because Georgia Tech just won the ACC championship. And yeah, it's not like they got there by beating every team they were supposed to play, but they've shown they can win some big games. Loyola Chicago, however, just 3 years ago had that Cinderella run. They beat Miami in the first round on that deep 3, and they just kept going. They just kept winning these close games over and over again, and they made it to the Final Four before losing to Michigan. And I think I don't know if they'll have the potential for this type of run because they're going to run into a buzzsaw in the next round, but I do have Loyola Chicago in the round of 32.
It was pretty easy for me to pencil Loyola Chicago in here. I think they're the most underseeded team in the tournament this year. And yeah, I'm going Loyola Chicago. No explanation.
Yep, I'm going Loyola Chicago.
I just want to say, I'll wait before I say that. Georgia Tech has won 8 straight games.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about peaking at the right time. They seem to be peaking at the right time. But
Yeah.
I think they got a bad matchup here. Loyola Chicago is, I believe they're near the top 10 in Trevor's favorite ranking, Ken Palm. So I'm going to pick the Ramblers.
See, I think Georgia Tech's going to win this game. I'm the only one taking Georgia Tech, it sounds like, but
Loyola's the top 10 in Ken Palm.
I think it's going to be a very close game. But I don't know. I like the Yellow Jackets in this. Everyone's kind of been hating on Georgia Tech. I know everyone trendy pick like nationwide's been Loyola Chicago, but I don't know. Give me Georgia Tech. I think Georgia Tech's going to win this. They're ACC tournament champs. I know it's down ACC, but that's still impressive. They're peaking at the right time. Yeah, I'm going Georgia Tech.
I could very easily see that, Kyle. I think this game's a toss-up.
Ken Palm has Loyola Chicago at 9 and Georgia Tech at 32.
I got to go with Loyola Chicago. In the words of DJ Kaelyb, they're Loyola.
Your camera's off.
Oh, I know, because I clicked it off because my phone's at 10%.
That's unfortunate.
I know. I can go charge it and then just go.
I want to see that sexy shirt of yours, Jaden.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm sorry. I'll be back. Getting charger.
All right, next one.
Tennessee,
5 versus
Oregon
12.
State.
Oregon State versus Tennessee. I like Tennessee, but they're a very similar team to Florida. A little bit better, extremely inconsistent, high ceiling. And Oregon State is peaking at the right time. They won the Pac-12 championship. They went through UCLA in a huge comeback. They crushed Oregon, and then they took out Colorado. Those are 3 tournament teams they went through to get to the tournament themselves. And I don't know how much the week off will slow down their run, but they are shooting great. Ethan Thompson, not a very good 3-point shooter in the regular season. He is on fire right now. He's good for 3 to 4 threes a night for the Beavers. They're playing so well right now. I'm taking Oregon State. Maybe a little Pac-12 bias here, but I really, really like them in this matchup. Talk about peaking at the right time like Georgia Tech. Oregon State obviously had to win out to get to this point. This is their opportunity to make a run.
Yeah, I kind of was on the Oregon State train as well. Going through the Pac-12 was tough this year. It was tough. I think it definitely ranks in probably top 3. Yeah, I was Oregon State all the way on this, just considering the fact that they had to go all the way and they won the Pac-12. It was just enough for me to pencil them in over a 5 seed, but I think this is big time upset potential here.
I got Tennessee in this one. I think Tennessee's a definitely better team. Oregon State, you talk about that comeback against UCLA. That arguably shouldn't have happened. UCLA has just been choking a lot recently. And you talk about the game against Colorado. Colorado, if they would have made their free throws, they would have won that game. And their threes. They would have won that
got
game.
Rebounds. I
Yeah.
still am under the impression we threw it to get the Pac-12 an extra bid.
I'm sorry
Yeah.
to divert attention away from what's going on, but
Did Barry tweet something?
Fantasy basketball lately?
Yeah, I saw some updates. What happened?
Dalton changed his name to Local MILF and put a picture of Trevor's mom for his team.
God.
Jeez.
My name's still better.
Wow.
All right.
On that note,
What do you think,
I'm
Blake?
thinking Tennessee because they're the only 10 I see. So,
Wow.
I have
Wow.
Tennessee personally, but honestly, I think one of these teams is getting knocked out the next round. So
I don't think Tennessee is very good at all. I think Oregon State wins this game pretty easily.
So
we're looking at,
split
3.
5-12.
Yeah.
All right. 4-seed Oklahoma State, 13-seed Liberty. Liberty would be a trendy upset pick if Oklahoma State wasn't underseeded. I think
Yeah.
Oklahoma State kills them.
I think
I feel
they're-
kind
yeah,
of bad
yeah,
for
dude.
Liberty, but Cade Cunningham is too good to let
He's so
Oklahoma
good.
State lose
They
this game.
have,
And
they have
Oklahoma
the
State
number one
themselves
pick
are
in the
too good.
draft. They have probably the best player in the country on their team right now. So
Yeah, I don't
Good.
see
Good.
Oklahoma State losing this
Actually.
game.
Oklahoma State kind of reminds me of like Murray State when they had John Morant. And I think Cade is ridiculous. I mean, I watched that championship game and that man is the real deal. So
he's a man.
yeah, he is made for the NBA and he's gonna definitely take out Liberty and then so
Yeah, if it was any other four
Already
seed,
wrote
I
it
would
down.
pick Liberty to win because I think Liberty's a really good team, and I think this game's gonna be really close. But star power wins close games, so Cade Cunningham will take Oklahoma State to the top. He's not the best player in college basketball. He's actually second best. Gonzaga has the best player.
Jalen Suggs.
Suggs.
Yeah, thank you, Jalen Suggs. Yeah, Oklahoma State's gonna win this game.
I got Liberty, and Justice. They're just an unbeatable combo, and I just believe in Liberty. So, go America.
And for Justice for All.
Thank you.
And Justice for All is a great Metallica album. San Diego State versus Syracuse, 6 versus 11. This is weird to me because I don't think San Diego State's a very good team. Mountain West always seems to be a little overrated. Syracuse, however, is not a very good team at all, in my opinion. And they got a win over North Carolina, but it's because of how North Carolina is playing now that has Syracuse in the tournament. Otherwise, it would have been Louisville, maybe even Colorado State. I am not a huge fan of Syracuse. I think San Diego State wins this game. I'm not a big San Diego State fan at all, but I do think they're just good enough to beat Syracuse. This could be another upset one, though, because I think Syracuse is probably good enough to beat San Diego State. I think neither team is very good, though.
I think San Diego State kills Syracuse, in my opinion. Not really sure how Syracuse got in the tournament, but they did. So
Syracuse,
just my
in my mind, in my mind, Syracuse should not be a tournament team. I think Louisville and Colorado State are better.
Yeah.
And for Syracuse not even be in the first 4 in, I think San Diego State, people shit on the Mountain West, but their offense is explosive. Again, I think San Diego State shouldn't be a 6 seed either. I was thinking more 7, 8, but I think San Diego State's going to kill Syracuse in this one.
I'm gonna stray away from the pack here. I like my Orange boys up in New York, so I'm
a literal orange.
I'm gonna have to take my boy Jim. I think the boys in Orange are taking this one over San Diego State. Mountain West is overrated every year.
Thank you, Kaelyb. Mountain West is terrible in March. And you guys say that Syracuse really is a borderline team and they shouldn't be in. And that's completely fair to say. But there's always one of those borderline teams that makes a run. And for me, seeing a down year in the ACC, somebody from the ACC is going to sneak through in this tournament. For me, that team is Syracuse. And I think this region as a whole is just like it has mess written all over it. There's going to be so many upsets here. Penciling in for Syracuse.
Yeah, I'm a big Syracuse guy here.
All right, split.
I've been known as a Carmelo Anthony.
I knew you were going to say Melo.
Yeah.
I knew it. I was waiting for it.
Now it's coming.
Truther. So that makes me a San Diego State fan here. I'm going to have to pass through San Diego State because Carmelo's trash, and that makes Syracuse trash.
You're taking
that
Tony Gwynn
comment.
over Carmelo Anthony. I respect that.
We'll pencil in 6, but the boys in orange are winning that one for sure.
3 versus 14. I know what Ben is going to say on this.
Yeah, we all know what Ben's going to say.
Oh, man. Kenneth Fareed versus John Denver here. I've
What
got.
am I going to say?
Oh, that you're
I'm gonna
taking
say
Morehead State.
I'm not actually.
Really?
Virginia is a Mickey Mouse 3 seed, but they've lost 3 of their last 4 games, but they're going to win. The Morehead State's not that great. They'll be
No.
Morehead State.
I don't like Morehead State in this one. I do think West Virginia has shown a few cracks going forward. This lines up very well for them. I think that West Virginia is actually on a very weak side of the bracket. They could make it to the Elite Eight. I don't think that's indicative of their true talent level because I still am higher on them than Ben is. Ben does not like West Virginia at all. I think they're a decent team. They will beat Morehead State. They will get to the round of 32.
Side point, I wish GCU had this 15 seed because I put them in the Elite Eight if this was the case.
Yeah.
These teams down here suck.
As much as I want to support Morehead State because I have a buddy playing baseball there, I'm gonna have to pencil in West Virginia for this one.
As much as I'm a fan of Morehead, I'm going to have to give West Virginia the advancement.
On that
Why
note,
did I not know that was
let's go to
coming?
the Clemson game.
All right, 7 versus 10. The school Jaden was thinking of going to versus Clemson, one of 3 CUs in the tournament.
Rutgers.
I
of course.
literally picked Rutgers because of that exact situation. So go Jaden.
Rutgers
Go
is
Rutgers.
back, baby. Rutgers is back.
Scarlet
bet
Knights,
against it this
Scarlet
time.
Knights, boys.
Rutgers.
Big 10 over ACC for me. I think 7-10 is often sometimes closer than 8 versus 9. They're basically the exact same thing, except the winner gets a more favorable matchup in the next round. I think Rutgers is in a very enviable position of themselves. Same with Clemson. I just don't like Clemson at all. I think they're a very overrated basketball school. And I understand just because they're a good football school doesn't mean they're overrated as a basketball school. I think in this case it does, though. And Rutgers a little underappreciated. The 15-11 record deceptive in a very, very tough Big Ten. I'm taking the Scarlet Knights into the next round.
Let's go.
Rutgers is back.
Let's go, Rutgers.
Is anyone taking Clemson?
No, it's Rutgers.
All right, 2v15. Houston versus Cleveland State. Cleveland State's not a good team. I think Houston is very overrated. I'm taking the Cougars, but I think that's as far as I'm going to take them. I'll listen to what you guys have to say in the next round, though. But I don't think Houston makes it further than this win right here.
Shout out Myles Garrett. I like Cleveland State. I'm all about it. They're going to take their helmet off, and they're going to whack Houston in the head with it. I'm going to Cleveland State for this one.
Ooh,
15
CSU,
over 2.
CSU.
At least one CSU made the tournament. All right, Ben's been quiet. Oh, there he is.
Cleveland State has only made the tournament. This is their 3rd time in the tournament. They're 2-0 in the first round. Houston
Interesting.
is due for a loss. I've been saying it for weeks, but I can't pull the trigger. I'll take the Cougars.
You know, I've heard that Cleveland rocks, but the Houston Cougars do have Hakeem Olajuwon. So I'm sadly going to have to go with Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Cougars.
That would be a good reason you'd pick them.
Right. Round
Oh my
of
God,
the biggest
32.
fan of
Stop.
Cougars is Kyle. Kyle's a big Cougar guy.
Ooh.
I believe.
That is true.
Cougars all the way, Houston all the way.
There you go. So we got 1 seed Illinois, 8 seed Loyola Chicago. I think it would be a good matchup. Battle of Illinois right here. But I think the Fighting Illini are way too good to lose to an 8 seed. So I'm taking Illinois without much discussion into the Sweet 16.
Yeah. I'm taking Illinois.
Yep.
Yeah. Strongest
Everyone's
1
in
seed in
love
the
with-
tournament.
I got Loyola Chicago just because Illinois sucks as a state. And what the fuck is that I? Get a real logo.
Loyola is in Illinois.
I
Yeah,
want to pick.
But I like the city, not the state.
Illinois. Yeah, Illinois.
Yeah,
No,
Ben's a
that's good.
big fan of the Illini.
Fighting
All right.
Illini.
So we've got 5/12 versus 4.
I'll
I
pick
myself,
OSU.
you're picking Oregon State. Oh,
No, I'm picking
Oklahoma
OSU.
okay. I think that's a safe bet. I agree with Ben. I'm picking OSU into the Sweet 16. No, Oklahoma State isn't going to lose to Oregon State. I think the magic finally runs out for the Beavers. They had an incredible run to get into the tournament. I have them getting a first round victory, which for that program is so cool to get into the tournament and get a victory. Good for the conference, good for them, just good for everyone involved with that. But Oklahoma State's way too good to lose to Oregon State, or hell, even if you have Tennessee, I think they're still way too good to lose to Tennessee.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
I'm still a big
Oklahoma
fan of
State's
Liberty.
for real, bro.
Oh, really, Jaden?
Yeah, come on. I don't like Tennessee anymore. You use their magic on Oregon State. I like the Beavers, but they beat the Beavers barely. So then they go into a Liberty game and they lose because Liberty and Justice is just OP in this country. So
I'm
Right,
kind
we're
of
just
with
gonna-
you. If Liberty does beat Oklahoma State, I think they make it to the Sweet 16. But I don't have Liberty beating Oklahoma State. So
It's kind of the same thing with USC. Just that star power is just it's gonna hurdle them into that position to kind of fight for that last spot. So
All right, we have 11/6 versus 3.
oh god, this game.
San Diego State versus West Virginia. I don't like either of these teams. I think whoever wins the 1 versus 4 matchup on the top makes it to the Final Four. For the sake of just them being in the Big 12 and having legitimate competition all year long, I'm taking West Virginia. I think it's going to be an ugly game. They might even be like a high scoring game. High scoring doesn't mean it isn't ugly. It just means that there's just a lot of scoring going on. There's probably not going to be a lot of defense in this thing. West Virginia, I do have them in the Sweet 16, but man, I don't like that. These bottom 4 teams at all.
I'm not very sold on the Midwest portion of the bracket either, but yeah, West Virginia, even though I have Syracuse being in this game, I still think West Virginia pulls it out either way.
Yeah, I agree.
I got the Qs. Send the Qs to the Sweet 16.
Really?
Carmelo Anthony University to the Sweet 16. There you go.
I like West Virginia. There's a song about them, so they got to be elite. So I
Fair enough.
them.
They play that song after every win. So I think we're on to 10 versus 2.
Yep.
Rutgers versus Houston, except Kaelyb has Cleveland State in there, I think.
No. That was just a joke.
Just making sure. I'm taking Rutgers. I think the Big Ten is much better than the AAC, and Rutgers, again, that record is not indicative of their true talent level, the tests they've had to go through to get to this point. Same with Houston. 24-3 is a very good record, but I think the AAC only has 1 team in there. They have 2 teams. Wichita State made it as a first 4 team, and then Houston. I think those are the only 2. So I've got Houston losing to Rutgers in the round of 32. Put the Scarlet Knights in the Sweet 16.
As much as I want to root for the upset here, I still got to go with a 24-3 record. Doesn't happen by accident. I think they make it to the Sweet 16, but I think they kind of run out there. But I have them over Rutgers here.
I have the same thing as Kaelyb.
Yep, same. Houston all the way.
Yep, go pie slam a jamma or whatever.
Fly slam a jamma.
I really want to pick Rutgers. Like I keep saying, Houston's due for a loss. I just don't trust Rutgers at all. They haven't been in the tournament in like 30 years. So I don't know how I can pick that.
That's the most Ben answer ever.
Yeah.
Well, they haven't been in the tournament for 30 years.
I'll take the Cougars.
The other last thing I'll say about Houston, they're in the American, but earlier in the year, they did beat Texas Tech, who's a very good team, by over 10 points. And I think Texas Tech's a much better team than Rutgers. Obviously, that was earlier in the year before Texas Tech really hit their stride. But Houston, I think, is a better team. People give them credit. They shouldn't be a 2 seed, but I think they'll beat Rutgers pretty handily.
Okay, so we got 1 versus 4 in the Sweet 16 here. Illinois versus Oklahoma State. I know Ben's extremely conflicted on this matchup right here. I am too.
Yeah,
I think
was
whoever
too.
wins this game wins the region. I myself am taking Illinois. I think they're the best team, and I think they're the strongest 1 seed at this exact moment. I'm taking the Fighting Illini over Oklahoma State, but it's going to be a war. We talked about, I think, what was it? Ohio State versus Baylor in the East Regional Final. The Midwest semi here, the Sweet 16 matchup between Illinois and Oklahoma State is going to be a freaking war. It's going to be such a good game.
I'm glad you said that, Trevor, because I was thinking this is going to be the best game of the tournament right here. Illinois, Oklahoma State. Before the bracket was made, I was thinking in my head, Illinois is going to be my team that I win it all, and Oklahoma State's going to be my team that's kind of a little bit of a lower seed that makes a run to the Final Four. And then this happens. I'm going to pick Illinois, but it's going to be a hell of a game. I'm going 92-89 for the final score.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you too. This is just a juggernaut. This is like a juggernaut of a game. Like, this is 2 powers just going at each other. It's gonna be just. I think it's a last possession kind of thing. Maybe in overtime, but I think I take the Illini here just because I still think they hold the reputation of the strongest 1 seed, and I think they ride that out.
Yeah, agreed. I actually think this is gonna be a bigger game than you guys think it will. I think Illinois could win by like 6 or 7 here. They got Oklahoma State's got Cade Cunningham. Illinois is so loaded, top to bottom. I don't really see a weakness with Illinois at all. And I think Illinois will beat Oklahoma State. The Oklahoma State will keep it pretty close, but at the end, I see Illinois winning by around 5-7 in this one.
I have Illinois.
Hey, that's in Corey Davis. Sorry.
Okay, Mr. Boiler Works in the freaking Elite Eight or whatever you had them in.
Okay, here we go. 3 versus 2.
Jaden, are you thinking Liberty?
Oh, yeah, what's going on? I had Loyola Chicago versus Liberty. I got to go for Liberty against and then I'll Liberty American Houston. So I have an all-American fight. America versus Liberty.
Jaden's gonna be right. Watch, he's just gonna be right.
No, he's not going to be right.
He's so lucky though.
Oh man. Okay, so I myself have West Virginia versus Rutgers here. I think this is a very interesting matchup. I think if Rutgers beats Houston, they can beat West Virginia, obviously. I think they won't. I think they'll blow all of their big run on Houston, and West Virginia will make it to the Elite Eight.
This is just such a soft 3. This is a soft 3 seed and 2 seed matchup, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is.
It's just it's gonna be one of those. I think it's gonna be a boring game. I think Houston. I'm gonna take Houston because they're just superior to West Virginia, but it doesn't matter.
I have Syracuse versus Houston in this game, and I am picking the Syracuse Orange to go to the Elite Eight.
In my bracket, I have Syracuse doing it too, but I'm based off what we have here.
Sure.
I'll show you my bracket right now.
Which one? You got 20 of them.
I've only made one today, but I have Q's going that far as well. I just think that's the softest. That's the softest portion of the bracket. Like, if there's going to be a high seed to make that run, it's going to be Syracuse. It's the only scenario I see it, because this side of the bracket's just so soft.
True. I will say one thing. I'll say, I think if San Diego State, I think West Virginia is going to be SDSU, but if San Diego State beats West Virginia, I like how San Diego State matches up with Houston, and I would have San Diego State going Elite Eight if they beat West Virginia, but I don't think they will. So I'm taking West Virginia for the Elite Eight, but with hesitance, and they're still not that good.
All right, I think we'll pen.
I think Houston over West Virginia because I want the American versus Liberty.
So you're going to pencil in the 2?
Yeah, the Houstons.
Okay. So the next round, for me at least, is 1 versus 3. Illinois versus West Virginia. It doesn't matter. I don't think it'll matter. Well,
No,
for Jaden, it matters because, But
because he's
Illinois
Jaden.
all the way.
I've got Illinois in the Final Four. I don't think this
Yeah.
one's close.
Yeah.
I think they win by 15, 20.
I have
maybe
Illinois
even
in the
more.
Final Four as well.
Illinois
Yeah.
blows the heck out of whoever they play in this game.
Well, I have Illinois versus Syracuse, and I'm going to pick Illinois to win that game.
Yeah, I think that was that's if Illinois could have had, that's like the perfect route to the national title for them for sure.
All right. Liberty versus Houston. Jaden, what you got?
Liberty versus Houston. I got to go with my boys at Pi, whatever Slamma.
5 Slamma
I
Jamma.
got to go with the Houstons. Houston, we have a problem. They're playing Arkansas in the Final Four.
Wow.
So Creighton,
Wow.
Houston, and Arkansas. Wow.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I've got.
We have all 4 1 seeds right now. Come on.
Yeah,
Hey, I took a
they're all
5.
original. It's not going to happen that way.
I have
Okay.
a 2.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, same.
Okay,
Ohio State.
here. Let's go to the East. This is
It's
going to be
okay.
fun.
We're going to get to my fun region here.
This Ben and I are going to be on the same vibe for this one. I think Kaelyb might be too. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but this one's going to be fun. This one's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Trevor, you and I are going to have a field day with this one.
You and I are
Already
going to have so much fun. Okay, Michigan
So-
versus Mount St. Mary / Texas Southern.
Michigan.
Michigan. This is
Michigan.
basically the easiest.
Sure.
This is going to be the only easy answer we've got on this.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Michigan.
I don't think this
put
is
it
an
down.
easy answer.
Really?
And Michigan.
No, Michigan's going to win.
Yeah.
So put the 1 in, but let's have some fun with the final games in this region. LSU St. Bonaventure. The Bonnies got an at-large as a 9 seed. LSU lost by. They should have won the SEC championship, but they missed a few shots there at the end, down by 1. Alabama took that. We'll get to them in a little bit, but LSU is the 8 seed. Bonnies are the 9 seed. I think LSU wins this game, but St. Bonaventure, do not sleep on them. I think they're very capable of winning this game, but I do think LSU is going to win it.
Yeah,
I got the
agree.
Bonnies.
agree.
I got the Bonnies.
I
Taking it
initially
at-
had the
oh,
Bonnies.
taking it at large. Okay.
I'm not a big fan of bunnies. I got Pistol Pete and that university, home of Ben Simmons, Pistol Pete, and Justin Jefferson. Hell's yeah.
And
I
Shaq.
originally had the
In
Bonnies.
DJ
but,
LeMahieu.
I've
Joe
changed my
Burrow
mind.
University.
I'm in on LSU. I'm buying the SEC, and I'm betting against the A10 because the A10 is bad.
All
It's
right.
a fair point. All right.
God,
I'll
This
go
is
with
the-
this one.
This is the toughest first round matchup, I think.
Yeah,
This is,
probably.
You want me to go with this one? Just talk about it for a while because I've got y'all covered. Colorado, Georgetown, Hoyas, Buffaloes, and the champions of the Big East versus the runners-up of the Pac-12. Boom or bust. Colorado wins this game. They make the Final Four. They lose it. Obviously, they don't. But I'm betting on McKinley Wright and Evan Batty and I think we're just tied for the NCAA record at this point because we had such a terrible free throw shooting performance in the Pac-12 championship. But Colorado is a really, really, really good team. They're underseeded criminally here.
Yep.
Georgetown's peaking at the right time, but both teams are going to get a week off. The Hoyas have length. They're the best three-point shooting team in the Big East, but Colorado's a really good defensive team. They are very good on the perimeter, and they've had some issues. They had a few issues in the Pac-12 tourney defending, but if they can get their rebounds, they significantly limit the amount of good looks their opponents get from outside off of kickouts and stuff like that. So if Colorado can control the boards, hit their free throws, I really don't even think this is a close game. Colorado is much better, but if they don't play well, it's going to be a grind. And even if they don't play well, Colorado could still win it. But Georgetown has proven they're a very dangerous team. So
Trevor and I went on about this for like 30 minutes earlier today, and the thing about Colorado that I like is they focus on making their shots the line, and they play a strong perimeter defense. We emphasized the role that Lynn's going to have to play in this game, though. He's going to have it's just they're going to go as far as they want to go, but they're going to have to stick to what they're good at, making their shots at the line and just D'ing up, because Georgetown's this is gonna be their hardest test from this region, in my opinion. Winning
Georgetown, they're gonna go until they beat themselves. I don't think another team is going to beat them. They're going to beat themselves, and that's what's going to knock them out of this tournament. I look at this bracket and see one team that's legitimately better than them, but I think Colorado still has a really good chance of beating them.
Yeah, I think that the winner of this game is going to be Elite Eight.
Yeah.
And
I can see that.
I don't like putting 12 seeds in the Elite Eight, so I'm going to go with Colorado.
Fair enough.
I'm going with Colorado. I mean, I think they're legit. I
majority.
think obviously the Pac-12 tournament kind of sucked, but they're still a good team, and McKinley Wright has got this in the bag.
It was a dumpster fire for a conference tournament.
really
was
was.
so bad. It was bad.
Yeah, it was bad, but yeah, Colorado.
Except for Evan Mobley.
Colorado's the best team in the Pac-12 in my eyes. I'm a big Georgetown fan. I've always been a huge Georgetown guy, but I think the Buffs are gonna win pretty easily. Actually, everyone's picking Georgetown. I know it's been a trendy pick. I know Georgetown's been hot, but I like Colorado a lot. They're way underseeded. Well, if they would have won, they would have been higher, but they lost to Oregon State, which in a game that they should have won. So I like the Buffs all the way here.
Yeah,
Mac
I mean,
McClung University.
they've lost 8 times this year. They lost a rough game on the road at Tennessee, who they weren't expecting to play. They scheduled it last minute. It was in Tennessee, their first test with fans.
That's
Then they
why
lost.
you like Tennessee.
Yeah, it is. Then I saw they lost to Arizona on the road. I think it was just before their postseason ban, but McKinley Wright got hurt just after halftime. It was a close game, and they ended up putting us out of our misery. Of course, Oregon State in the Pac-12 championship game, a game they should have won. Then in the regular season, they lost a close game at UCLA, a game they choked at Oregon, and then they lost to Cal on the road. I don't even know if they necessarily should have won it outside of the context of they're much better than Cal. They lost to UW at home. That was brutal. Well, I don't know if it was at home, but it was still brutal. You can't lose to the Huskies. They're terrible
We
this
really
year.
need to know every game that Colorado lost.
Well, there's only one more. It was at Utah at home, and it was another bad loss. But my point is they beat themselves in basically every single game they lost. So if Colorado takes care of the ball, gets rebounds, and just plays like a team, they're going to go as far as they want to.
You know, I know basketball teams can play basketball games, and they can lose basketball games by, not doing the good things right, like Trevor was explaining.
Mm-hmm.
But, I like Coach Mike McCarthy and Tyler Bay to push CU over the edge in this game.
Respect.
All right.
4 seed Florida State, 13 seed UNC Greensboro.
I
The Seminoles,
like this matchup.
The Seminoles are coming off of a runner-up. Same thing as CU, actually. Lost in the ACC championship game or their conference championship. And UNC Greensboro, obviously the auto bid here. This is going to be interesting. I think the Seminoles are. I have Florida State. They're a good enough team to beat 13 UNC Greensboro, but I don't think they're as good as Ken Palm suggests they are. I think they're taking advantage of a weak ACC.
We're talking about a UNC Greensboro team that ended the year winning 13 of the last 18 games. So I don't know, but it's going to be a dogfight. But I'm taking Greensboro over the Seminoles here.
Yeah.
I told you guys every year there's a 13 that's going to beat a 4. I haven't picked one yet, so give me UNC Greensboro.
My guy.
Nice
All
job,
right.
Ben.
We want to
like
split 4
Florida
and 13.
Go Jameis Winston.
Yeah. I already know who Ben's going to pick for the next one.
Well, you know who I'm going to pick too. UCLA is not playing very well. Tiger Campbell is their best player, and they just haven't looked to be very sharp. Michigan State, they beat Michigan, and they seem to be hitting their stride when they need to. They had a really rough game in the Big Ten tournament that knocked them out. But I've got Michigan State beating UCLA, God, I cannot stress enough how much I hate BYU. Not even being a 60, just like in general. I hate Brigham Young University. I cannot stand them. That's not the reason I'm taking Michigan State. I just felt I couldn't properly do the podcast if I didn't stress my hatred for BYU. So I've got 11 seed Michigan State in the next round. I think they're peaking at the right time. BYU is not a very good team. They're taking advantage of a weak conference in which they lost to Gonzaga 3 times, and that's really their most impressive performance was a 10-point loss to Gonzaga. So I've got Michigan State in the round of 32.
Shout out Gonzaga by only winning by 10 too. Shout out Gonzaga by only winning by 10.
I have BYU mostly because I don't like them either, but I have to root for them, conference stuff. So, but it's also weird to see Michigan State and UCLA in a playing game. That is so weird. But anything can happen. But I think BYU is going to win.
As much as I hate to say it, the Mormons are going to take this one.
BYU being in the tournament is a complete joke. The West Coast Conference does not deserve multiple bids. It's not that good. Gonzaga's actually really lucky they won that championship game, because if they hadn't done that, they probably would have missed the tournament. I don't like BYU at all. I don't think they're a very good team. I would have picked them to lose first round regardless of who they were playing. But I love Michigan State. In the last 3 weeks alone, they've beaten Michigan, Iowa, and Illinois.
Illinois, yeah.
So they've beaten 3 of the top 5 teams in the last 3 weeks. They are hot. This team is going to make a run. Michigan State.
Yep, agreed. Michigan State all the way. I think this is an easy game. And even if UCLA beats Michigan State, I still got them over BYU easy.
Yep.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
taking Draymond Green University. I have nothing against BYU on the record. No offense to the Mormons there.
I do, and I totally mean offense.
But yeah, BYU lost by like 26 to USC or something earlier in the year, so they're dog shit. So go MSU.
Okay, Texas, Abilene Christian. The Wildcats just had a huge win in their conference championship game. Texas, I have them winning this game. I don't think they're as good. They're an overseeded 3 seed, and we'll get to that in the next round.
What? Okay.
But I do not like Texas very much. I know they just won the Big 12 championship, but
I disagree with that heavily. I just watched Texas play some phenomenal basketball. I've never seen guys jump or dunk that high in a lot of games. So I have to go with Texas. And frankly, I think they're going to go far.
Blake, I have a question. Have you ever watched Creighton?
They can fly.
Normally I say horns down, but this Texas team can spread the floor. They can shoot the ball. They can play defense. I like Texas in this one.
That's what I'm saying.
Texas all the way.
I actually think Abilene Christian is underseeded. They should be at least a 13, if not a 12. Probably not a 12. Big 12s are pretty good. They should be a 13 over UNC Greensboro, really. But I don't think they're going to be Texas. Like you guys have said, Texas is legit. I'm in on Texas here.
Yeah, I'm high on Texas.
Yes, go KD University.
All right. 7 seed Connecticut, 10 seed Maryland. UConn playing their best basketball of the year right now. Maryland, another Big Ten team, record deceiving because it's such a tough conference. I like UConn in this one. They're playing, like I said, they're peaking at the right time. There's so many teams in this tournament that are peaking at the right time that either got them into the tournament or they're hitting their stride and they were going to be an at-large before, but are really pushing themselves to where they need to be. I think the Huskies are fantastic. Joining the Big East again was definitely a choice they should have made. And I think they do beat Maryland.
They won at Illinois by 3. I'm going Maryland. Let's go Terps.
Yeah, I like Maryland a lot in this game. I think this is going to be one of the best games the first round. It's going to be back and forth, but I'm going Maryland. I'm going Maryland in this one too. I think it's going to be very close. UConn is playing their best basketball of the year, but Maryland in the Big Ten, like, I don't know. There's something about Maryland. Like I've watched them play this year, and they're a real good team. UConn's good too, and UConn's peaking at the right time in a good Big East. But I like Maryland in this one.
I agree with what Kyle said about this being one of the best games of the first round. I think both these teams are really good. but I've said it and I've preached it this whole time. Star power wins close games in March. And UConn has this guy named Book Knight, who's pretty legit.
Yeah. Is
So
he
I'm
related
going
to
with the
Fortnite?
Huskies.
Ooh, good point. Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like UConn, even though I don't like Kemba Walker. I mean, Maryland has some dope state flags, but UConn, shout out to their women's team who should win the national championship again because we care about gender equality here. Go UConn.
Go
I take
Title IX.
UConn. I take UConn because Maryland is really lacking in the rebounding area nationally, and UConn is one of the. I think they're ranked 6th in offensive rebounds, so they're going to exploit that all day.
I don't agree, but I'll pencil in UConn.
It'll be close.
Who's
It's
got
pretty
Rick?
much. It's a toss up in my mind. I think it's toss up.
Who's got Rick?
Alabama, Iona. I think this is a pretty easy choice. I mean, they got the defensive player of the year. They got the SEC coach of the year. So
Rick Pitino, though.
No one
is
likes
the
Rick
coach of
Pitino?
Iona.
Rick Pitino University. This is going to be a close game.
Yeah, what if he motivates his
Team.
players by taking him to the strip club beforehand?
I'll take Bama, but it's going to be a close game.
Yeah,
I think
take Bama.
Iona, if you're actually going to pick a 15 over a 2, I think Iona is the one to go with.
Not true.
I think
Hey.
What about Grand Canyon?
Grand
Trevor
Canyon.
said what
hey,
I said what I said. No, I think Alabama wins this
fuck
game,
off.
but
Jesus.
it's a little harsh. But Iona could put up a fight. I think Rick Pitino is the first coach to ever lead 5 different teams to the tournament
Yep.
or something like
Let's
that.
do
I saw
So
that.
Iona has they're a decent team. They're obviously a good team to get here, but I think Alabama is good enough to win that. All right, here we go. Round of 32. If you thought the
I
first
think
round was
Alabama,
crazy,
by the way, rude.
if you thought the first round was crazy, well, yeah. Michigan versus LSU.
Go nuts. Let's go fucking nuts.
Michigan. I
have
think
Michigan.
LSU show a lot in the SEC title game, keeping it so close with Alabama. I think Michigan's a really good team. Michigan did make it to the Big Ten title game, but I really like Michigan this one. Give me Michigan by 5-10.
Michigan
Michigan.
soft, but I think they're just good enough.
They're just. I think it might be Alabama versus LSU again. Actually, remember Duke UCF? We brought it up earlier, where it came down to that last second tip in, and it went halfway down, and you just thought, "Oh my God, Duke was 5 inches away from losing." I think it might be another one of those matchups
You
where the
do this
writing
on
is
purpose.
on. At least it's better than the one I gave you 6 years ago when it was about Harvard and North Carolina. That started.
Did you hear that whole statement though?
Which
It
one?
just goes like halfway down, and you're about to come on, and then
I
it's
never
just 5
said
inches
that.
away. They were so close.
Okay. Anyways, Michigan beats LSU, but it's close.
Yeah. It's a close one. Oh, that's
I think if this is a close game, Michigan's going to win. If LSU wins, it's going to be by double digits.
That's fair. If they win, it'll be just a pure. Yeah. Okay. I totally agree with that. All right. Some of us
Yeah,
have
but I
13.
will pick Michigan.
By the way,
I'm CU. I'm sold CU regardless of who they play. I think CU's
Same.
the strongest. I think they're the strongest team out of this area.
I'm
I'm
gonna
CU all the way.
I'm going to kind of foreshadow here, but I take CU, and I think CU is the team to beat Michigan. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Colorado, whether they face Florida State or UNC Greensboro, wins this game.
Yep.
Yeah,
If they get
easy.
past
The UN.
Georgetown, I think they're going to be playing with way too much confidence to lose to either one of these two teams. Colorado put that 5 in the next round.
Yeah, easy,
Jaden, what's your
easy.
thoughts?
I got Colorado because the Buffaloes are better than the Seminoles. Duh.
True.
I
we go.
have Colorado playing UNC Greensboro in this game. I'll take the Buffs, but it's close.
All right. Some of us have BYU. Some of us have
Michigan
State facing Texas. Michigan State versus Texas. If it's Michigan State, I have them winning. If it's UCLA or BYU, I have Texas winning. But since it's my bracket, I'm picking Michigan State to win that game against UCLA. And they'll beat BYU, they'll beat Texas, and they're in the Sweet 16.
Yeah,
I'm so
I have.
hesitant. I'm so hesitant to pick those teams that have the play-in games. Just be like I can't make a firm decision. But I'm going Texas. I'm Texas. I'm horns up this round. I like Texas. I'm big on them. I told Ben. I like them. I'm going horns up. Texas 3. They're going next.
Yeah, I like Texas. I think they're one of the most physical teams in the tournament. And I said they're going on a run, and I have them. So.
Yep, Texas. I plus like I talked about earlier how VCU always used to do pretty well. Shaka Smart is a very underrated coach. I love how Texas played in that Big 12 championship or in the Big 12 tournament. They're on a roll. I like Texas in this one. Michigan State's a good team, and they're in the best conference in basketball, but I like Texas in this one.
I like Texas as well. Let's go Texas.
I like Texas a lot. They're a very good team, but the thing about Michigan State is that they beat good teams. So I'm Sparty up.
Ooh.
So split 3 and 11. Alrighty. Here we go. Roll Tide versus the Huskies. I know some of us picked Maryland. Alabama versus UConn for me. Oh boy. Man, oh man. UConn to me is the second team to beat in this conference or this region. Michigan, obviously Michigan. Whatever. But I think Colorado, like Blake alluded to earlier, is the team that's going to win this if they don't beat themselves. I think UConn's right behind Colorado because they're just peaking at such a good time right now. I think UConn is going to pull an upset over Alabama. The cracks have been showing for Bama. They went down double digits against Tennessee in the semifinals. They were to come back from that. They were in a dogfight with LSU, and they shouldn't have won that game, and they barely hung on to that. Sorry, Jaden. I think that this is the finally cracks for Bama. The cracks finally go too deep. I'm sorry, Ben. And it just kind of all falls, the floor falls out from underneath Alabama, and UConn makes it into the Sweet 16.
Yeah, Trevor I was high on Bama, and Trevor and I kind of talked about it, and I kind of did a little bit more research on the Tide, and they were just in too many close games when they shouldn't have been in close games. So I have Maryland going to the next round, and I have Maryland over the Tide.
Yep, agreed. I have, regardless of who wins, it's Maryland, UConn. As I said, I think it's going to be one of the best games of the first round. I think whoever wins that is going to beat Alabama in a close game. I still think Alabama, even with their struggles and losing close games, is still a good team. But, yeah, I don't trust them to go to the Sweet 16. So give me Maryland, and even if UConn wins, give me UConn.
Yeah, I got UConn, and, yeah, not much else to say.
All right, so put 7/10, I guess.
Wait, I didn't talk yet.
Yeah, I didn't.
Go, Ben.
Fun fact. Got a lot of fun facts.
You're full of them today.
No team that ever started the year unranked and finished the year in the top 10 that's been seeded at 2 or higher has ever made the Final Four.
Whoa.
Another fun fact. I think it's like 15 out of the last 16 years or something like that. We have had at least 1 2 seed not make it to the Sweet 16.
Ooh.
Houston sucks. I really wanted to keep them out of the Sweet 16, but I didn't. Instead, I'm going to keep Alabama out of the Sweet 16. Give me the Huskies.
All
right. Jaden?
I like UConn. Clearly, according to my bracket, I don't like 2 seeds. Ben was talking about it, and I only have 1. Ben said that they both missed, so oops. Go Houston. Past that, Alabama kind of sucks. Alabama is, just not doing good since Sexton left. So big rip.
What? Okay. Okay.
Dude, Sexton's the GOAT. Don't you dare argue.
All right. Okay. Michigan, Colorado. Let's go Buffs. It's
I am Buffs all the way. I am Buffs all the way. They're right in this to the Final Four.
If Livers is out, Livers is one of Michigan's better players. Michigan's dealing with some injuries right now. I've never been sold on Michigan. I think they've always been that team that seems really good, that they're going to be good all the way through. but then all of a sudden cracks start to show and it just all falls out from under them because they're not as good as they seem. And sure, the Big Ten is really good, but I always felt that Illinois was better than Michigan this whole time through. Colorado, man, this is their time to shine. I don't think we talk enough about how good of a coach Tad Boyle is. And in these close games, Colorado has a propensity to just rise above when they need to. I think they do it here, and they make it to this Elite Eight.
Do you realize as you're talking about CU, you keep going like this?
If it's up here, then there's more of an issue than
it reciprocates the way he's talking too. So.
That's a fair point. It definitely
I think
works.
that everyone else was picking the same thing as me.
Yeah, everyone definitely was.
Wait, what?
I really hate everyone's picking Colorado, so I kind of want to pick Michigan because of that.
Yeah,
I know. I thought, I think the Buffs here for sure. As everyone said, yeah. And even if Georgetown somehow makes this far, I like Georgetown too. I think Michigan will make it to Sweet 16, but I don't see them getting past it.
Yeah, I think Georgetown is another really. If they get to this point, they're obviously still playing just as good as they were in the Big East tournament, and I don't think they stop at Michigan.
I just think it's great in the Sweet 16 that we get two of the greatest meme matchups of all time in our friend group's history: Michigan, Colorado, and Creighton versus Gonzaga. So just for the meme, just for Dalton to bowl you for no reason for 2 weeks, I gotta go.
Yeah, there would be hate crimes if Colorado plays Michigan in the Sweet 16.
I want to see it. Give me Michigan.
I'll pick Colorado just because that's what my bracket is. But
Dalton will literally commit a hate crime against me if they play Michigan.
Colorado.
All right,
let's do this other one.
I've got UConn versus Michigan State.
What a juggernaut.
UConn versus Michigan State. I'm going Huskies. 7 seed. Something about UConn and those 7 seeds are going to the Elite Eight to face Colorado.
Maryland competes against top tier teams. I like Maryland. The Terps are taking this.
I like Texas in this one. I think
I'm with Kyle. I'm with Texas here.
Yeah. I really like how physical Texas is, and I think they're gonna go down and give me Texas, Colorado in the Elite Eight.
I also have Michigan State and UConn in this one.
Oh God!
I have been going back and forth on this one since the bracket started, and I've come to the decision that I'm going to pick UConn. Because Michigan State doesn't usually, or they don't show up as much against teams that aren't like those top tier teams, and UConn isn't that top tier team.
They play more. They play up, but when they have to play a team that's a little bit down, they play really bad. Is what you're saying.
So I am taking the Huskies. I believe in Book Night because that's really fun.
All right, 5 versus 7.
I got Texas versus UConn, and I've got Texas winning, of course, because I don't like Kemba Walker. So go, Katie.
I guess we'll do 7-3.
Okay, so 5 versus for me 7.
Let's hear it, Trevor.
What's funny is if I think it's Texas, Colorado wins.
Oh
I think
my gosh!
They don't play well against bad teams.
No way, Colorado's making the Final Four.
They lose to UConn. I have them losing to 7 seed UConn.
Trevor, you had a tweet yesterday that said if you're going to bet on Colorado to win out of the first round and bet them to make the Final Four, why are you changing now?
Look, it's a good value pick in my opinion. Because I think Colorado has a very good chance. Just for what I'm seeing with Colorado, I think UConn is that perfect team to trap them, where they're just bad enough to make them play down, but they're just good enough to take advantage of how CU is going to play against them. Because whenever CU plays a team that isn't very good, they let themselves kind of go. They get a little sloppy, be it with rebounding, trying to get good looks on offense, moving without the ball, stuff like that. And I think this is a perfect trap matchup for CU. And I mean, I guess you really can't call the Elite Eight a trap matchup, but I think it is where CU falls if they play UConn.
You know what? No, the Buffs are they're an old-fashioned team right now. They make their free throws. They play the right game. The Buffs are going to the Final Four. I got CU going to play Gonzaga.
Wow. Well, I got
Texas.
Michigan versus Texas. I don't know who I want because Michigan versus Arkansas would be a great championship game. I'm gonna go Michigan just for the meme value. That's the deciding
enough.
factor here.
I have the same matchup as Trevor, UConn and CU. And the reason I was trying to talk Trevor into picking CU is because I want to pick UConn. In the last 10 years, we've had at least one team that's seeded 5 or worse make it to the Final Four every year. Also in the last 10 years, or before last year, I'm sorry, we had a run of 8 straight years where we had a 7 seed or worse. I think we can pick that streak back up again this year. I'm picking UConn because I think UConn is the best team that falls into that 7 through 11 category. I've got the Huskies in the Final Four. I've got 2 1s, a 7, and a 2.
All right. So
Some of us-
UConn.
So
Just a little heads up. I have
two
to leave in
UConns.
I have to leave in like 10 minutes, but we're almost
Yeah, we've
done,
got
so that's good.
3 games left. Yeah,
Yeah.
we should be able to get through that. All right.
Okay.
First matchup of the Final Four national semifinals.
Who are we putting in?
Put
Let's put
all of
UConn
them.
in.
Put a
And most
7.
people said UConn, right?
Yeah.
UConn,
Two
and
of UConn.
UConn.
All right.
Who did
So
Kyle have? Texas?
Oh, I'm yeah. For me, it's CU versus Texas, and I think it's gonna be very close. But I like CU. I like
Let's
go
go.
Buffs.
7/5.
so 2 Colorados, 2 UConns, and 2 Texases, I think.
Noah,
got
Michigan.
Oh, a
Yeah,
Texas
yeah,
and a
Blake
Michigan.
Summer,
So 7/5.
There we
in
go.
there. All right. So for me, my Final Four semifinal, the first one, is Creighton versus UConn.
Yes, sir.
I'm thinking back to 2014, where it was 7 versus 8 in the national championship. The right side of my bracket doesn't have an 8, but my left side has a 7, and that 7 just so happens to be the same 7 that won in 2014. I'm taking UConn over Creighton. The Huskies are going to the national championship game.
You're off your rocker.
What? No.
Over Creighton, I mean, of the
I got CU versus Iowa, and the CU is shutting down Luka Garza. The Buffs are going to the national title game.
You guys know
Right.
the Buffs won the title in like the 50s.
Oh,
They've
what
won 2
happened?
tournament games.
What happened?
2 total tournament
Oh.
games since then.
The Buffs are going to the national championship.
Oh, I'm sorry, they didn't win it. They made the Final Four. They didn't win it.
And that was the NIT, stupid.
I want Andre Iguodala.
I
got
got
that.
Iguodala.
well,
I have
Andre Roberts.
Iowa and UConn, and I am not going to put a 7 seed in the championship because I'm not high right now, like Trevor.
Right now.
So give me Iowa.
Boo! The Buffs.
Ooh.
I got Gonzaga versus CU, and give me Gonzaga. I think this is the year they finally make the title. Give me
I'm
Zags.
going with Kyle, baby, but I got Gonzaga, Texas. I'm rolling with my Zags.
Well, I got Creighton versus Michigan.
You can't
And,
give up.
you know,
This is better than mine.
I want Creighton. Give me Creighton.
No way.
Okay, well, there
There's
you go.
no way.
There you go.
No, you can't give up on
He
the
had to
team.
do it.
Sorry, boys. I can't. Creighton's making the championship.
Can't give up on the meme.
Dude, the meme lost.
Who do I put in?
I don't know.
You know what?
Gonzaga.
We're going
That's who you
I
see
really
you.
have no clue. I took a 7. Fair enough.
The
Can't
Buffs
argue
are
with
going
that.
to the national title game.
put. What do we have?
Pencil it in now.
CU, 2 for Gonzaga, 1 for UConn, and 1 for Iowa. All over the place.
So we have 5 different teams in the national championship game from this side of the bracket.
I don't think that's
Okay.
ever happened.
Okay, here we go.
TBD.
TBD.
Yes. Okay. South versus Midwest, the other national semifinal. Most of us, I think, have Baylor versus Illinois.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I have Illinois. This is gonna be such a good game. IU and Kofi are playing at a high level. Same with the rest of the Illini team. I think Illinois wins this game. They get into the national championship against UConn. It's going to be a fun matchup in this game, though. I think it's probably a top 5 matchup for the entire tournament, though.
Yeah, I'm going with the Fighting Illini here. Baylor has been dominant offensively, but I just like what Illinois is brewing, especially coming from the Big Ten. So I am selling out for Illinois.
Yeah, I personally have Illinois as well. So I think they're going to go to the championship, but I can also see the argument for Baylor. So it's one of those two.
Oh,
It's really
hell's bells.
50-50.
We still have Jaden's bracket.
So everybody here is all on the Illinois hype train. I was on the Illinois hype train, but I want to be different because I don't like doing the same thing as everyone else because I think it's too unlikely for it to happen if we all say the same thing. So I'm going to pick Baylor to win this game. I also don't want to have 2 Big Ten teams in the title. So I got Baylor.
You can just put a 1 in the semifinal because it's going to be a 1 or a 1.
Yeah.
We put this one easily for you.
Jaden?
I got Illinois versus Ohio State in a rematch of the Big Ten championship, and I think this is going to be the game of the tournament: Illinois versus Ohio State. And I keep going back and forth, but I think whoever is going to win this game is going to win the national championship. I think whoever wins between Illinois and Ohio State, or if it's Illinois versus Baylor, I like them to beat Gonzaga in my bracket, whoever it is.
So who are you picking?
So for Illinois, Ohio State, I'm leaning to. I think Illinois is definitely a better team. I think Ohio State could come back and try to get revenge, but I like Illinois. Give me Illinois in the championship.
All right.
Boys.
Arkansas versus Houston or Liberty?
Houston. And boys, I've got a tragedy. The game we all want to see is going to happen in the 3rd place game, but
What?
there isn't one. Houston advances. Arkansas.
There's no way.
Oh, yeah, because Arkansas is a better choice than Houston.
So
Yeah,
Houston
they are.
versus Creighton.
Houston versus Creighton for Jaden.
I don't know what
Okay.
you're on, Jaden.
I'm
Oh, yeah,
What's your
so-
finals matchup and what's your pick?
All
I
right.
got CU versus Illinois, and I got the
Don't-
Bucks in the Fighting Illini.
Thank God.
Down to the buzzer, winning it on the buzzer. CU is the national champion.
my
Pencil it in.
Oh my gosh.
For the love of God. Hey, y'all are probably proud of me that I didn't do that. Okay. My national title game. It's UConn versus Illinois. They're not going to repeat history
You have
from 20.
UConn.
Yeah. So
That's like worse than CU.
okay. I've got Illinois
Worse than Houston.
over UConn in the national championship game. They don't repeat history from 2014. I've got the Illini winning the national championship.
Well, I got my Zags versus probably Illinois, but I could also see Baylor, like I said, and I'm rolling with the Zags because, got to do it.
Well,
I can
Gonzaga,
pick
in my
three
mind,
number
is
ones
not
before the
going to
Final
be the
Four.
first undefeated team since 1976. So I got Illinois taking national championship.
It's going to be hard for Gonzaga to compete if they're not in the national title game like CU. So
I have Iowa versus Baylor. And I told you guys, I'm living vicariously through Baylor because their head coach is my head coach's brother. So, pick 'em. Baylor.
I think
boys.
that does it.
No, I got
All
mine.
right. We end
Oh, no,
our
I don't think that does it yet.
I got mine, boys. And just on a side point,
Oh, that's
just,
right.
Just to bring it all together,
Holy God.
if UConn's women's head coach decides to spread the Rona throughout the UConn program, CSU is going to the national championship if they're subbed out. For UConn. So we have to make it a here. But anyways, I've got Creighton and Houston in the national championship. Boys, congratulations to the national champions, Creighton.
Wow.
Blue Jays. Creighton.
I like CU more than Creighton in that matchup. That's the sad part.
They're gonna win.
I can't wait for
6-9
for
to 4.
Colorado, Creighton, and UConn to all lose in the first round.
Right.
And Houston.
I don't know how I got here.
I don't know how you got here either, because I was on the CU to the Elite Eight train. I do think that it's a natural ending point for them. I think they could go further, but you decided to take them all the way to the national championship and win, which I don't think it's
Caleb, were
out
you
of the
serious
question.
about this whole thing, or were you just memeing?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Well, my picks for the national title weren't really the popular ones. I have the Jayhawks making some upsets and going in on that side, so I kind of started memeing once we kind of got to the point of where the Jayhawks weren't really
So what's
competing
your
at
actual
that point.
bracket then? What is your like actual Final Four and champion?
I have Kansas beating Gonzaga. I have Baylor going to the Final Four. I have CU playing Kansas in the Final Four, and I have Ohio State. And for my national title game,
Nope.
I have Kansas and Ohio State.
And who wins?
Ohio State.
Okay.
All right.
All right, I think that's about it. I mean, we went through every single matchup. I think all 65 games of the NCAA tournament, and we came up with a whole bunch of different
60, yeah.
winners.
Creighton.
Because
Um,
Liberty's
so-
an Elite Eight team this year.
Hey, you know who is an Elite Eight team this year? Almost Grand Canyon, because they're 7-footer. They're just one round short.
I'm actually so excited to watch the Grand Canyon Iowa game.
Trevor, I think you have to put the music now.
No doubt.
So yeah, I think that's about it. My audio is kind of going a little crazy, so I can't hear all that well. But for Ben Vogel, Blake Fry, Kaelyb Grover, Kyle Barton, my co-host Jaden Rioch, I'm Trevor Blatnick, and this has been the Overruled March Madness Bracket Edition special. I want to start getting this podcast more consistently. We actually have sports that we can actually talk about now. I definitely want to do some special edition NCAA baseball podcast as well coming up here soon, at least before the conference tournament's going on. So we also want to do an NFL draft special. I think similar to what we did last year. Herbert's not in the draft this year. Yeah, that one would be with Dalton. Yeah, so definitely want to get to do that NFL draft where we go basically the length of the first round again. That was fun. It's a long night, but I think it's fun to react to it, get our live reactions, stuff like that. So for all of us here at Overruled, thank you for listening. We hope that this bracket wins you some money, or you stay the hell away from it and win money on your own, because this is a freaking train wreck. All right. Country roads take y'all home. See ya.